Yo yo, and thank you, Jeremy V. Welcome to, or welcome back to, Across the Pond. Tonight we're live, as you can see, but those listening, you're not going to see shit. I am the Vaping Jedi. You all know me if you have been listening or watching. Joined tonight by some one very special person, and Adam. But hey, um, yeah. So let's get this started. You know who I am. Drinking a beer with a water chaser. A little bit of Homeboy Tropical
Ooh.
Spicy.
in the clutch and the blotto, and some Cubano on the old Vupu V mate inside the ether. Anybody else? What do we got?
Go on,
What are we
Angela. You
vaping?
can go next.
Oh man, I haven't done a vape buffet. All right, so I got this Aegis Legend guy with like this really old Jess Marie drip tip Play-Doh. Like this thing is old. I'm trying to remember what's in here. Oh yeah, this liquid that I got from Canada called Rad E-Liquid, and yeah, it's rad. It tastes like sour candy, which
Ooh.
I like it. I like stuff that's different, stuff that's very high on the sweet scale. Give me the vaping diabetes because I will take it.
Diabetes.
Diabetes. Also, let's see. I got my little Attitude K Fun. Got it working. It's working
Oh.
amazing. And in here, I've got a Razzle Dazzle, also from Canada. It's like this little bitty quick shot, guys. Blue raspberry. It's pretty
Ooh.
good. Yeah, but I don't know. I just was like, this needs to go on here.
It looks
Oh,
good
no,
on
Kind
there.
of works.
Tim,
Just kind of
Adam.
works.
Adam is special, but in his own way.
And that's pretty much what I've
what,
got.
what you drinking?
Oh, coffee and water. Like you got
Oh.
to be two fisted. You just gotta do it.
All right, I guess I'm the only one starting the buzzer off early.
All right. Well, I've got shit loads. I've set up loads.
You've got a shit. You were supposed to do that before the show.
Oh yeah, I've done quite a few of them before the show. I've got the OG recoil on the heavy hitter, bearing my 26 aliens. In there, I've got butter number 2, which is amazing. I got the work drag, which looks like it's been run over a couple of times, with the new drop 1.5, pairing my 27 aliens in there. And then I've got some English bloom, cucumber, watermelon. I've also got the billet box with a Haku Zeta and a pair of my mouth to lung staggers. In there, I've got probably the worst liquid in the world, lemon nom nom nom.
Oh, it's not the worst in the
Oh mate,
world.
it's vile. £2, yeah, or £3, sorry. So it's not my thing.
Oh, I love Nomenon liquids.
I got the watermelon one, and it just tasted
Ooh.
like, you know,
No?
like when you get the squash when you put the water in with the drink, but you put like 90% too much water in it. It's got like a little hint of watermelon. So
Well,
it's
if you want, you can just chuck those in the box you're going to be
yeah.
sending me.
I'll send them your way. Yeah.
Just
And
vape it forward.
yeah, and also I got the ether on the Odin 100 with some. The bottle's disappeared, but it's called Yoda Blood. It's like a lemonade, and I'm drinking Coca-Cola in a really obnoxious iridescent cup because I run out of coffee. That's me done. Pardon me.
All right, guys. So as you can see, we are one short. We had advertised that we were gonna have Texas Mama on, but Hope sent me a text earlier today, and she's not feeling that well, so she wasn't able to make the live.
Love to you, Hope.
Because myself and the rest of the panel know jack shit about lupus. We will mention some charities and some informational things later on, but we're not going to do anything unjust without having proper information. Um, so maybe at a later date, we'll have Hope on, and she can talk us all through it. The most I know is it's an autoimmune disease, and it attacks your tissues. Outside
Gosh,
of
you
that,
know more than I do.
Outside of that, I
Yeah.
really don't know anything, so we're not gonna go that route. But we're gonna go World Vape Day. We we know, and you know, that this is not a vape forward podcast or live stream, but we all are vapors because that's what brought us together. So we might as well talk about that, as well as it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and we've only got a couple of days left in the month to do it. And I mean, I have to assume that that affects myself and countless thousands of other Americans. So I can imagine it goes crazy in the UK as well. So
Yeah.
let's do the damn thing. We'll start off with a little bit of vape advocacy. Um, so as we go through 2 episodes a month, I just check over with Kasa because that's like the holy grail of vape advocacy in the states. Um, we've got one thing that's new. If you're interested in um, anything else, you can go back and listen to any of the other episodes from the past, or you can just jump right over to kasa.org and check them out for yourself. But what we got for us tonight is Kansas City, Missouri flavor ban. They apparently they've started up that again. It started, I think it was introduced in November last year, but it's been kicked around. Kasa reports that it's moving forward again. They're banning flavored vapor products as well as flavored nicotine products, so cigarettes, cigars, as well as smoke-free alternatives. So your snus
So like snus and stuff like that?
and everything else. Yep. Um, they have an invite-only work session, which is I'm assuming is just part of their committee, finance or
Wow.
what have you,
That's kind of shady, Josh. Think about that.
on June 2nd.
So you can
Um,
only attend. Let me make sure I understand this right. You can only attend if you've received an invite.
Correct.
Oh, they don't want the public there.
They have a public committee meeting on the 9th of June. So they could already make their decision and just go, well, we got to have the public comment, and then, but we'll do it anyway.
They're just going to go through the motions.
Yeah.
Because what's most people doing at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday? Working.
Exactly.
And plus, you don't invite people you don't like, do you? It's like having a party. You're not going to invite people you don't like. Who's going to invite everyone that's going to fight their
Duchess
corner?
Needs to have his wrench removed.
Who?
Duchess.
What's that?
We're gonna have a running counter for me.
Well, that's really bad. How can they make it invite only?
Dude, that's just how things run here in the States. Look at New York State.
Yeah.
They passed their flavor ban at like 2 a.m.
Yep.
Sticking it in with a COVID bill.
Yep. Shady's the way.
Yep.
Do you know, every week or every time we talk about the US and all the shit that they've been doing, it surprises me every time, and I shouldn't be surprised, but it still surprises me every time some of the shit that goes down over there. I'll probably get my channel cancelled at some point because I just can't believe it. You guys only make money off of people that are ill. They're pushing through this vaping because they're losing money through tobacco.
Right.
And now they're doing invite only. Well, they slipped through your vape mail ban, didn't they?
They kicked it down the road. They've kicked it down the road because the post office is like, I don't know how we're gonna like handle this. So it's until they can figure it out, like they just kind of, kick the can down the road for a little bit.
It's shocking. It's shocking that, and I feel really bad that we haven't, considering America and the UK, we're meant to be mates. None of our lot have stood up. Hang on. You're obviously doing this wrong. And even when like a lot of the Americans, they quote the Royal College of Physicians, cancer research, all this stuff, and they're like, nah, sorry, we're different.
Right. And that's they think that there's a huge difference between you and I.
Sorry about that.
And we don't understand that.
No, I don't.
We're people.
And looking at
We're
it from
adults.
a British perspective,
yeah,
it's weird that when you start listening to this stuff, and when we know the truth. No, it's the information's out there, and you know where the science lies, and people are still following people that have had their papers retracted because it's been bullshit.
Right.
And then you've got Marvel making comics. We talked about this earlier on the show, and you think it's just taking a fucking piss. Like, when someone going to stand up and go like, enough's enough for your side, I'll quite happily do it, but they ain't going to listen to me, are they?
Oh shit, Sir Thickness is in chat.
Oh, Chris
the grill
is in
master.
the chat. You're right, Chris. Oh, but yeah.
Oh, isn't he over your way?
Yeah, he's a good customer of mine. He's turned into a friend of mine now. He's an absolute
Awesome.
legend.
We love legends.
And it's his birthday on Monday. So happy birthday, mate.
Happy birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday. I am not singing.
Oh, me neither. I'll make my dog howl. It's fine.
That's a big dog to be howling.
So is that all you've got in America?
That's what I've got. That's the newest thing that I've got this week. Angela, you hearing goings on down in Texas?
Nope, not
Nothing new
against the vaping side.
Because I know a few weeks ago you guys had a flavor ban that was proposed, but I didn't see anything come across that had moved it forward.
Not yet.
Over here we haven't. At the moment, we're still waiting to go forward with new regulations because we've obviously told the World Health Organization to go suck a dick, and in the nicest possible way. And yeah, we're now at the point now where the UK VIA, which is the UK Vaping Association, we're getting together with the local government to make our own rules and regulations. So we're doing it from vapors to actually be able to do stuff that is actually going to work. So that hasn't gone forward just yet. So I think that's going to be in the next couple of weeks. So I'm keeping my eye on that. So that should be interesting. It's to be honest, the regulations we got at the moment are good and flexible. They want to try and get rid of the whole do your own nick shots, which I think me and Josh have had many conversations about it.
It could be a good and a bad thing.
Right.
I think getting rid of it is going to be bad because, well, for me anyway, and people aren't, because I'm 1.5. So I'll have to go to nick 3 or 3. Yeah, it's not an issue jumping up to 3, but I should be able to make that choice of being able to put my own strength in. If I want to jump up to 2, I should be able to jump up to 2. And I think it's good for people that are quitting as well. Because I know people that have gone from like 18 milligram and literally gone down a milligram till they're 1, and then they've gone to 0.5 just for, it's not going to do very much, but it's just that psychological thing, and then just giving up. And I think taking that away from people, going it's either 3 or nothing. I think it's just not a good idea for the British anyway. I don't know.
Well, your nick is different.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
I've noticed. Well, just with the Super Good, I don't know if the nick shots that I got from Hope were from Super Good, or if they were from here. But you were saying that in an English liquid, you are vaping a 1.5, but in an American liquid, you can vape a 3 milligram and it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Something with the chemistry that I don't understand.
I don't know whether it's because in America, when you make the liquids, you make it with the nicotine as well. Yes. When they mix it in where we've got to put it in afterwards and then give it a good shake. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but that's just my own personal thing that I've noticed that yours 3 is like a 1.5. If I have a 3 here,
metric to imperial.
Yeah. If I have a 3 UK, I just cough my arse up. It is too strong. So I think it might have something to do with the putting the nicotine in afterwards.
Yeah, it could. And you whinge when I vape on a 12.
Oh, that must be like vaping
Yeah, I couldn't do
sawdust.
that.
Oh, I'll be coughing a lung up. See, this is my mouth to lungs are 3, and that's pushing it. I can do about 1 or 2 puffs, and I have to give it 5.
Actually, this Cubano isn't even a 12.
Is that that V-God Cubano?
That's Nick's jam right there.
It's a 25 milligram salt.
That's Nick's.
I had 1 bottle of Cubano, and I loved it, and I can't find it.
It's a very
one of the
good
hardest
tobacco.
things to find over here.
It's become scarce here too because V-God didn't file a PMTA.
Nope. So, as the wife of somebody who that is the only liquid that he smokes, of course I'm concerned because he was a 5-pack a day cigarette smoker.
5
packs a day. Thick Nick in chat, 5 packs a day. He only vapes Cubano.
Bloody
and
hell.
One day we know we're not going to be able to find it, so I need him to find something that will keep him from smoking.
Reach out to Mitch and Sifu.
Yep, and see if they can copycat it.
Either copycat it or Sifu has he's got a new tobacco custard, and he's got a vanilla apple tobacco that is amazing. I crush
hope
it.
Nick's still listening and he hears this.
I absolutely crushed through that vanilla apple.
So is that 100? Sorry, I can't get over 5 packs a day. That's 100 cigarettes.
Yes, sir. He was nursing at the time, and he would be like, "Oh, hold on, I got to take a patient out. Patient's smoking, I'm smoking." He would just crush cigarettes. Like he'd get up in the middle of the night and go smoke, like literally one after the other. I've never seen anybody that smoked as heavily as Nick did.
Wow. I thought I was bad. I was pushing between 50 and 60 a day. And that took up, that was like a part-time job.
My dad smoked.
Chris Doyle just said that he ordered some Cubano for an MTL.
Oh,
Chris, you're gonna love it in an MTL, dude. That's what I got going on in the ether.
That's what.
Where did you get that Cubano from? I can't find it anywhere.
We got ours from our local vape shop, but
I got it from one of my buddy's shops. He may still have some.
Ooh.
But it's a Nick salt. So
that's what Nick vapes.
Because
he was such a high cigarette smoker.
Did he smoke cigars?
No.
I'll do a little bit of research for you, Angela, and see if he's still got any.
Okay. Awesome.
Because he's right here in Mass, and he'll ship anywhere. He doesn't give a shit.
Perfect. Piracy rules.
Yeah. That's mental.
Yeah. Speaking of mental.
Yeah.
There you go.
So let's I'm just going to quickly announce the waffle. If anybody likes waffles.
Everybody likes waffles. Come on, Josh.
I love me waffles because I'm fluffy. But anyway, we're going to run a waffle. Anybody who sends a donation to the Across the Pond PayPal, which Ad should link into the chat or give to one of the mods to do. It's actually in the description of the video as well.
Yeah.
So we're gonna open that up, and it'll close on Monday. Then I will gather everybody's name. No, Tim, not Blue Waffles, you sick fuck.
There's always one.
Just son of a bitch. You got that. Never mind. It'll be open until Monday, and anybody who donates will pick 2 winners from the top 2 3-clickrandomizer.org thing, and the first 2 winners will receive a bottle of Super Good and a Nick shot. And what did you say? 2 sets of coils, Adam?
Yep.
The rest of the people, everybody's going to get something. It's just, it may not be free liquid and juice and whatever else. But anybody else after those two winners are picked, everybody else who donated will get a 15% off coupon code for Adam's Coils. So anything that we bring in from PayPal is going to be donated to either suicide prevention or NAMI, however you pronounce it, as well as something from a lupus charity. We're gonna still roll with that because it's in the title and it's proper. So 50-50, whatever's made, we split. Unfortunately, both on my end and on Adam's end, you're gonna have to pay for shipping. So
I do it cheap, so it's not too bad.
Whatever it is, flat rate, small boxes like $8 anywhere in the States.
Yeah.
If you are an international and you win the liquid, sorry, pal, you still got to pay for it. But we're not keeping any of it. That is also going to be donated to those charities. We're not keeping any of this money. We just want to be able to circumvent any percentages being taken out either by Lord Vader YouTube or like, what is it, the GoFundMe and shit like that. So
on the coil side, shipping even internationally it's £3.60. So you'll get the coils. Like you'll get the coils for £8 and a couple of p. So it's a good deal.
Yeah, you're looking at like $15 total from Adam.
And I don't keep none of that.
But
I'm not keeping none of the money.
That $15 is whoever
wins
is getting the coupon codes.
Yeah.
Because the coils themselves will be free, but you just got to pay the £3 shipping, which I think turns out to be like $5 American. So that's part of what we got. If we come up with anything else, we'll just throw something in as a thank you. But that's what we want to do. Both Adam and Angela know that I wouldn't be here because if it wasn't for starting the podcast with Adam, because I had a huge social anxiety issue. I have been diagnosed with anxiety and depression. It is currently managed by medication, which I'm actually trying to switch over to a more holistic cannabis approach. It's just getting there, but finding the right dosage and waiting out the half-life for the medication was the hard part.
Yeah.
But as you can see, I'm here and not throwing up. So I would say it's working. Fuck you, Duchess. So that's where I'm at. We'll run through other things. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Call. If you don't want to call them, call a friend.
Yep, absolutely.
Zoom, text, email. My email's always open. My DMs are always open. Doesn't matter who you are or what time of day it is. You need to talk. You need to talk. Yeah. I'm just doing it now because it pisses off Duchess. It's funny.
He's gonna lose track in a minute. But I did. If I'm honest with you, from a UK point of view, it's literally been in the last 4 or 5 years that mental health has actually been spoken about.
Really?
Yeah. It's when it's become more public.
It's talked about a lot here, but it's a very broken system, along with our criminal justice system and our government systems and just about everything else. They don't get the help or care that they need. Coming from somebody who worked in the healthcare system, granted, I wasn't a hands-on, patient contact kind of person unless they were a bit loopy. Um, they just end up sitting in an emergency room, waiting room, or in a on a holding up a bed because there's no beds available anywhere in this state. And when you're on, it's a little easier when you have a state sponsored healthcare than private, but at the same time, even with juveniles are a hell of a lot worse. One of the hospitals that I worked at, we had a kid who was maybe 16 years old. No, sorry, Mowgli. Angela did not go first. um, he was in our emergency room for 37 days
Wow.
because they couldn't get this kid a bed.
That's really bad.
Even the substance abuse side of it is even worse because you get a dual diagnosis. You have to wait for dual diagnosis bed.
So it looking at it because
Oh, okay.
from my
I've talked to you before, Chris. My bad, dude.
from my point of view, I personally haven't suffered, well, to my knowledge, with any anxiety, depression, or anything like that. So for me, it was all very new. I had a very, very close mate growing up that he suffered badly with mental health. He would disappear for weeks and he wouldn't leave his room. And so to me, he was just like just my quirky mate. We never thought it was like mental health. We just thought it was just him. But talking to my wife and through my job, I've realised that it's everywhere. Like it's becoming more and more prominent now. For me personally, I think maybe social media has a lot to do with it. It doesn't help it in any way, shape, or form. In the UK, a lot of our mental health advocacy and charities is based around young kids, teenagers, from puberty up, so saying like 11 upwards. And clicking around the websites, the first thing that pops up is through uh, anxiety, depression brought on by social media, like online bullying, imagery, like all their mates are in class doing their Snapchats and they don't want to do it, so they don't feel they're pretty, which then brings on more. That seems to be the number one thing in the UK when I've been clicking around, just from being someone on the outside thing, just typing in mental health charities and just going through like the top 30. Most of them were for young kids, which brought me by surprise. Because when I was a kid, well, I wouldn't even be able to tell you what anxiety was or depression. Where now these kids at such a young age are going on because they've got these text numbers and QR codes that apparently they're putting in schools. So if you start feeling that anxiety or you feel like you're getting depression, you walk around and you scan it on your phone, and it takes you to a dedicated charity which is done through like WhatsApp chats and forums. And it seems to be a lot of it is for the younger kids. Which I'll say it again, it surprised the fucking hell out of me that kids are
I would have
getting.
to say that even adult versus juvenile mental health issues, it's more prominent in juveniles here at least. Um, and I'm on that slight cusp of being called a millennial, unfortunately. Uh, I wasn't raised like that, but I'm not going to berate an entire generation for what they have versus what we had or lack thereof. Um, because social media and media in general has a lot to play into some of the issues that these kids have. Um, And it is quite sad when you see on the news that a juvenile, and I'm talking 18 or younger, has taken their life because either they were bullied or they didn't feel themselves in school, or something that happened at home, and they felt as though that they couldn't talk to their parents or their friends or their friends' parents, and it's a rough thing, but it's something that really needs to continue to be talked about. Had I not talked to anybody, I was never suicidal, but I felt like I didn't belong, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense, Josh.
Um, that's the first time you'll hear that live on YouTube.
No, and
But
that's like, I'm glad you guys are like, I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because that, okay, I'm just gonna jump in here, and I'm just gonna
Go for
take
it.
over. I'm just gonna throw myself out there, because like you, Josh, I also
This is
have,
now Angela's show.
yeah, now it's Angela. No, I have social anxiety, and I have always struggled with mental health my entire life. And I truly believe, speaking from my own little corner of the world, that this is why I started smoking in the first place. Because I, at 14, was trying to self medicate, I think, with something, and that's something to deal with literally. I have high functioning anxiety. So, on one hand, people, what they see is, wow, you're really able to like balance a whole bunch of things, and keep like 3 projects rolling at once and work no, 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 no. I'm going to be totally honest. No, 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 no. It is crazy. I literally feel like I am a hamster in a wheel all the time, and I am just running, running, running until I hit a wall and I burn out, and then I'll go quiet, because that is just how my brain works. And it's awful. It's terrible. And I never really recognized that I was having anxiety. I always just thought my whole family was like, "Oh, you're an AB student and a straight A student, and you're a good kid and blah blah blah." And I was, because the fear of failure, right, from anxiety, pushes you to throw yourself 100% into everything.
Yep.
So for me, it was throw yourself into school. Don't do anything bad as a teenager except for smoke, because that was the only way mentally I could cope. I also very much still feel like an outsider. Everywhere I go, I'm like, I don't fucking belong here. Like, these are not my people. Like, I still don't feel like I fit in anywhere, because I realize I'm not meant to. And that's okay. Just like, you know, it's okay to talk about these things. We have to talk about these things.
Yeah.
Because if we don't talk about these things, then they become very ugly things. They eventually lead to the horrible thoughts of suicide and depression and ugly crying and wanting to give up. Don't give up. Don't give up.
My
Very open about it.
my people are right here on this panel and in that chat.
Absolutely. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Those are my people.
And replay crew.
Yeah.
Yes.
We get a lot of
Podcast
that.
crew. We see you, we hear you, we love you.
It's interesting when you said that, because literally last year there was a guy I worked with. He struggled for years with depression. He left his wife and there was no end of issues. I won't give no names or companies, but he wasn't getting the support that he needed. And we came into work one day and got told that he hung himself in the bathroom.
Oh my God, that's awful.
It turns out that he may not have got the help he needed through his workplace, because he wasn't getting it at home. Because he was in his late 40s and was looking after his mum in her late 90s, and didn't have no help. Shut himself away, and they found him hanging in the bathroom.
And Adam, that happens a lot because I'm
Yeah.
a Gen Xer, and a lot of us are caring for our elderly parents, or know that we're getting ready to care for our elderly parents. For me, both of my parents are dead. So I'll be looking to one day care for Nicholas's mother,
Yeah.
and his grandparents. It's the sandwich generation,
I
and I also think that the pandemic has opened a whole lot of visibility to mental health, because we
yeah.
started seeing people that their whole lives were like, oh yeah, no, everything's great, I don't have any kind of mental health. Suddenly, all of a sudden, they're losing their
Yep.
job, they're losing their home, they're losing their things, and
Hmm.
they didn't know what to do. They're losing loved ones, and the whole world has been left with a mental health pandemic right there.
I just thought it was weird that I knew him so long, and I knew he said, "Oh, I've got issues at home and that, and he has to change his work times around to accommodate." But that would have been the last thing I thought he would have done. I thought he was just getting on with it. He'd say, "You all right, mate? Yeah, yeah, I'm all right. Do you want a cup of coffee?" Just a general chat. No way would I have thought that this man would have hung himself. And
See, and that's how it starts too.
Yeah.
it
And
makes you think like
with
shit.
some people, you ask them if they're right, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Yeah, nobody's going to
Sometimes
be
they're
like,
not.
fuck no, I'm not doing okay.
Yeah,
But in
no.
my eyes, if there was something wrong and someone said to me, "You're right," I'd have been, "Nah, I ain't all right,
Right.
mate." But obviously, that's the difference between someone who's actually going through something to someone that, like me, I just had a bad fucking day and everyone fucking pisses me off, and I will tell you if it pisses me off. But then people like that, that's obviously going through hell and is still going through hell, can't feel like they can turn around and not ask for help, but just say, "Nah, I ain't all right."
That's hard
You
to
know,
do,
it's funny,
though.
Angela, that you brought up the pandemic, because one part of this story is, how everybody used to make fun of you for talking to people online,
Oh, yeah,
and now we
absolutely.
all have friends online.
Yep.
Um, and I get to hang out with my friends online.
Hmm.
Anyway, I had COVID, and I kept testing positive for the longest time. So I was out of work for 2.5, 3 months because I
Bloody hell.
continued to test positive.
Yes.
And with the line of work that I'm in, I need a negative test result to be able to return. Thankfully, I was paid for my time. Um, but that I'm an introvert naturally. That's
Same.
you know, the first like week was like I was built for this. This is me. You know, chips, soda, and the couch. I'm game.
Hell yeah.
I tell you, week 3 came, and I was like, I gotta do something. I gotta go for a walk. I just stand out on the balcony for a couple of minutes.
Hmm.
Just you gotta get out. Sometimes you just need to get out.
Start feeling like a caged animal.
We are
You're like,
not
now I see why the Donner Party started.
human. Humans are not. Um, we're not designed. We're not built to be solitary beings.
Right.
As much as some people enjoy their solitude, or they tell you they enjoy their solitude, we
We
are
are social
definitely
creatures.
100% social. We need that social interaction, whether it be in person or right here on Zoom.
Absolutely.
This is these programs have been a godsend for me in general. Um, just being able to jump on, or a voice chat or a video chat on Discord or something, even if it's like a quick 15, 20 minutes that ends up turning into an hour. Um,
We've done that many a times.
you need to do it.
Yeah.
What's with the bananas and the soccer balls, guys? What's going on?
But I don't know how people do it, because during lockdown I had to isolate for 2 weeks because I had my mother-in-law staying with us because she lives with my brother-in-law and they were getting ill, and my mother-in-law's quite old, so I said, "Bring her here, get her out of the way." Well, her and my wife got really ill, so I called my boss and I was like, "They don't feel well." I was like, "Isolate for 2 weeks." Like,
Yeah.
cheers. So I thought, "Oh, here we go, 2 weeks chilling." 2 days I lasted, and I was ready to pull my hair out. I couldn't do it. I was pacing the garden. My wife's been home working for a year and a half, and I don't know how she does it. But she ended up doing book reviews. She keeps herself busy, and I don't know how people. I can understand why people go doolally from being stuck in the house during COVID and a year and a half lockdown. I can believe why people will then get anxiety, because my wife, when I took her out for the first time, she didn't want to go near people. She was crossing the road, wanted to keep her mask on. Her anxiety went straight through the roof. She didn't want to get out of the car. So I literally had to force her and say, come on, no, you're coming with me. And the first couple of days we went to Asda, which is like our version of like your Walmart and stuff.
Okay.
And it was like, mask on. If there's someone's close, she diverted around the corner. She's like, no, we're waiting for him to pass. And for me, because I worked the whole way through it apart from the 2 weeks, and my job is I'm with lots of people, I have to meet people and that. So I never really had to deal with the whole COVID isolation. The news, I made her delete the news off her phone. Because between her and her mum, it'll ping, 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 another 1,000 people dead, another 1,000 people dead. Saying, shit, if you're stuck in the house and that's the only sort of contact you're getting, it sort of underlines how all these people are either ending their lives, getting into massive amounts of depression,
Right.
because that's just horrific. It's like a zombie apocalypse. You know, the start of the films when you see it at the beginning, where all the news starts like population
Dawn of the
going.
Dead?
Yeah, like that. It's
We go to the pub?
yeah, but it's on a serious note. I haven't. It's only recently that it's kicked in that how much the pandemic has affected people. Because now we're coming out, you're starting hearing stories, and a lot of charities and adverts that are coming up on the TV about, has this affected you? Like, oh, we've got free not health cover, what's the word? Free sessions.
Like mental, absolutely.
And stuff, and all like this mind stuff, mindfulness, helping people sleep and stuff like that. And I found out the other day, and this is really bad, because my mum teaches mindfulness to teachers and to health professionals for the kids. I never knew this till the other day. She's been doing it for years, and she was saying that it's more and more now. There's so much demand for it that they're putting it in schools. They're teaching kids about mindfulness and self-medication, anxiety. And when I was in school, we never had that. There was no mental health.
Because there's such a stigma. There's such a stigma, and that's where I'm hoping that because of the pandemic, and mental health has always been for Josh, for me right here, because we struggle with it, but for people that don't have it, like, it's very scary, because you feel like it's embarrassing to tell people, hi, I'm medicated, because it makes you sound like you're crazy. No, there's no shame there, because what if I had something else, like, I don't know, like a heart condition? Is there shame for me taking heart pills? No. It's what keeps me alive. Well, this is what keeps my brain slowing down a little bit. I mean, it's not 100%, but it's better than literally the constant struggle of worrying about what happened yesterday, what's happening 3 days from now. And I'm like, I have to remember to be in the moment.
So did the pandemic affect you? Did it affect you mentally more than it did before?
So it wasn't just the pandemic that affected me mentally. We stopped doing That's What She Said. That was a huge, Josh knows, that was, I was ugly crying for months about the show just ending, because that's not how I wanted anything to end.
Yeah.
I suddenly, found myself, I was going back to work, like having a regular job, which I had been freelance writing for the last 2 years. So that was a huge change for me to be around people again, like in an office building. And
Yeah.
then Nicholas got COVID. He almost died because of COVID. He was hospitalized. I got it. Our kids got it. I mean, and then we had the crazy Texas snowstorm. All of these things happened from like August till February. For 6 months, it was just a wave of bad news that was hitting our house. And I was like, God, please, like, we need something good to happen, please. Because it was just, I was in a really, really bad place mentally, because I was like, I'm about to have to bury my husband, because they literally told Nicholas, they told him the day he was admitted, you're probably not coming out of here. They made him sign a will, Adam, in the hospital. Like, it was some serious shit. How do you go and tell people that, hey, Nick's probably gonna die? Like, you can't say that. So we stay quiet, and the only person that I really felt like family that I had that's like blood family is my sister. Well, my sister's got her own gambit of mental health issues. So I didn't really want to go to my little sister and be like, hey, all this shit's happening. Because, I mean, as far as family, she's the only like immediate family that I have left. It was a total shit show. So yeah, the pandemic really like made me bottom out. And then I think what kind of brought me out of it was remembering, like, to just, like you're saying, being mindful, be in the moment. And I would purposely wake up really early every morning and literally just listen to the sounds of outside.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, but I was like, I hear birds, I hear the train, like, let's just be. And every time I feel like, for me, that things are just taken off like a racehorse, I have to remember, slow down, be in the moment, just chill, which is, it's hard because, like, with somebody who struggles with anxiety, you just want to go, 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 get it done.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
That's mental.
You have to fight against yourself to just be like, slow down and chill, and just find your place. That's hard. That's hard to do.
So all that for someone that doesn't suffer from anxiety is still shitloads, but then obviously having the issue of having anxiety as well, that seems horrific.
It was nuts. Josh and Tim were checking on me all the time.
Yeah, because I remember Josh was talking about you way before I knew about you.
I was home.
Yeah.
I was with my kids. I didn't know what the hell was gonna happen. I mean, yeah, there's Nick. Truthfully, I was terrified and still have issues dealing with it. I'm very thankful to be here. Yeah, absolutely. If any, like, Nicholas is like, shout out to Chris Cornell, show me how to live, audio slave. Like, really, like, if anything, like, that's what this shit teaches you, is what's really important.
Yeah.
What's really important. It's not social media. It's not shit that we pour our energies into that don't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It's about people. It's about, connecting and love and saying, man, what do you need? Let me help you out, because I know what it's like to fucking hurt. I know what it's like to suffer. So if I can prevent one person from feeling like that, then my work here is done. I don't know.
I've got to be honest, I think the pandemic has helped me to be a better, well, just sing my own tune now, but be a better person. Because all my mates tell you, I've been mates with some of my mates for donkey's years. I am one of the worst friends. I'm not a texter. I'm not a phone caller.
I'm not either.
If you want me, you know where I am.
That's how I am. I love you from here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Same.
If you want to go out, drop me a message and I'll come out. I'm not a chat chatter. But during the pandemic, I've got to be honest, I've spoken to my mates more now this past year than I think I've ever spoken to in the past 6-7 years,
Yeah.
if even longer. I speak to Josh every day. I don't speak to anybody every day.
I speak to Josh every
I speak to Duchess every day. I speak to Jay we speak to them lot pretty much every day.
Duchess and I have margaritas every weekend through Zoom. We're like, let's have. So, hey, if you're out there and you're at least 21 and you want to come have a margarita with me and Duchess, hop in the Discord, get your margarita, and we'll just have a little drink, and it's fine.
And I do think, I know we blame, well, we've said social media, but I think Zoom and that has helped an awful lot of people. It's like, because we've got family in Missouri, and my dad's best mate, he still mates him. They went like primary school together. They moved to Texas for, I think it was about 10 years. So they've moved back here, but they still do Thanksgiving every year. So we go over and we do the big Thanksgiving dinner.
That's awesome.
But last year we haven't been able to do it, so we done it over Blue Jeans, which is like a Zoom thing.
Okay.
Apparently it's a Texan version of it. I don't know.
Never
But
heard
it's
it.
basically the same thing. But we done Christmas dinner as well over Zoom. So whacked it at the end of the table, and it was me and the missus sitting there, just us two. And then on the screen there was all the other family. We
That's
all had
awesome.
their own food. But without social media, we wouldn't have been able to do that.
Mm-mm.
And just people coming together. Like Nick done a lot of the videos over the lockdown, didn't he? Done more and more videos for people. Everybody's been trying to help each other out.
Yeah.
I think it's great, and I think also it's been good for people who own big companies that realise that not everybody needs to be in the office.
God, no. I get more stuff done when I'm at home.
I get fuck all done when I'm at home.
Yeah.
I have to go out to work.
You bring that up, and there's companies like Twitter and Google and even Apple who have all given their employees, hey, you don't have to come back to the office.
Southwest, they were like, we'll see you in December, maybe.
We realize that you're more productive at home.
Yeah.
Because there's no inter-office chatter. Right. There's no water cooler talk. There's none of that.
I hate that shit.
Right.
Like, I look, tell me your biggest fear, and I'll sit here with you all day. I'll be like, because I'm an introvert. I'm an INJF, and I want to hear about that. But like, how about them Cowboys? Who gives a shit? Like, I don't care about that. I'm just like, I'm gonna go sit down in my cube with my coffee now because I can't relate with you.
Yeah. It's weird. I wonder. It makes you think. What would the pandemic been if we didn't have social media? I think we probably flipping the coin. I think we would have been in a worse state.
I think so too, Adam.
A massive worse state.
I do.
So it's like a double-edged sword then, really, when it comes to mental health and social media. In one way, it doesn't help you. In the other way, it helps a bit.
I think if you can look at it and understand that it's just a distraction, that you're like, oh, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to watch YouTube, but don't get hung up on, oh, this guy's got a Lamborghini. What the hell? I need to make a Lamborghini. And then you start hating on yourself because this guy, this rando on Instagram's driving a Lamborghini. Who gives a shit? Like, it's probably not even his Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you can understand that is, also that is fake. It's not real.
Right.
It's not real.
Yeah.
Especially not Instagram.
Lamborghini.
But I think for kids, it's hard. It's the same as, I know it's a really weird metaphor for it, but like wrestling. I loved wrestling as a kid. As soon as I realised it was fake, I stopped watching it.
Really?
Yeah. Mick Foley, Mankind was my all-time favourite.
Yes, Cactus Jack.
Fucking brilliant. Loved him. As soon as I found out it was fake, I stopped watching it.
But it's like a man's soap opera. It's great.
I've just never watched it since, and we're going back years now. He was still wrestling when I stopped watching it. So,
Wow.
but then thinking about it, like what you were saying, that most of it's fake. These kids don't realise that most of it's fake. The internet, the stuff that's on Snapchat, TikTok, all that shit, and they just want to copy it.
There's
I
also
don't
some
know
pretty
that I
shitty
agree.
people on those apps.
What's
Because
that?
I have like
There's
I don't
also
know
some
that I
pretty
agree.
shitty people on those apps, though.
I have a teenager.
Yeah.
And the thing that my kids are into, and again, this is just my kids, they are into anime and video games and reading manga. And if it's not one of those, they really don't care. Like they're not really into, oh hey, let's, sit down and watch they don't Disney. They love Disney. But they're just not
Not like that.
like
We need to convert Adam into a Disney freak.
Well, I did.
I bet T's behind you going,
yeah.
She's asleep on the
Aw.
sofa. I've got to be honest. When it comes to Disney, I think it was the last time we was on. I was like, don't like Disney, don't watch Disney. But we've got Disney Plus because the wife's obsessed with Disney. She watches it daily. And I went through Disney Plus and I realised there was quite a few films in there that I didn't realise was Disney.
Or Disney now owns, yeah.
It's like the original Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I didn't know that was Disney. That's a pucker
Well,
film.
it's Disney owned now.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
only
Disney
Disney
owns
film
Fox.
I'd watch is Toy Story. Love it. But yeah, it's a hard one. Well, sorry, we're going back to the mental health side of it.
You want to put the Zoom link in chat again?
I don't think I did it. 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got to remember this. I'm not very good with stuff like this.
You're
Hang
also
on.
half asleep.
1 second.
Yeah. Even Tim's having an issue finding it.
Yeah, and I think like with mental health, the big thing is if you're struggling, just know you're not struggling alone and you do not have to suffer in silence. Like please message somebody. Me, like Josh, if it's anxiety, I get it. I totally get it. If it's high functioning anxiety where you feel like everything has to be perfect or you freak out, I totally get it.
Yep.
It sucks.
Yeah, I mean.
So we're gonna get the little sidebar. I'll get rid of it in a minute just in case someone pops in.
Sidebar? I don't see a sidebar.
You're seeing this. Oh, no, it won't be on yours. It'll be on the live.
Yeah, we pulled the biggest dangle clack we could ever pull at him.
I'll take full responsibility for that.
We forgot to record.
Oh, no way.
Oh, no.
That's because I'm here.
This is a once in a lifetime.
There it is. It happens. We are now a YouTube live show.
Hell yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Oops.
Right, it's in chat. Oh, here we go. All right, we got some.
Oh yeah.
Here we are.
We're in.
What's up, guys?
Chris, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Oh,
Hey,
that's my
Lethal.
stream in the background. Yo, heavy metal.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I love it.
Hell yeah.
Love
dude.
it.
How's
How's
everyone
everybody
doing?
doing?
Good.
Good.
Beat you to it.
Yeah, you did. You beat me to it. You got me there, my friend.
You're good.
Yeah, it's my day off, so I'm enjoying the day. We got dinner on, but
Nice.
we're doing well over here.
Awesome.
Good. How's the job?
Fantastic. I couldn't ask for a better job for myself, to be honest with you.
That's
It just works
awesome.
out so well.
Oh, nice.
My boss he's a killer boss. Like one of the nicest guys, one of the easiest going bosses I've ever had in my life. So he puts up with a lot of shit from me and he's like, dude, just keep doing what you're doing. So
that's awesome.
So you can't ask for much more than that, can you, really?
No, you can't really.
But 99% of bosses, if any of you are bosses out there, remember 99% of you are a pain in the arse. And it's hard to
Right.
find a good boss.
Absolutely.
How's
So,
it going, Tim?
Tim, the
Going
imparter
good.
of all that is wisdom. What say you?
No, what? No, I had a good day. I was on Fresh's channel earlier and I made this Not Your Brother's root beer. It's like it's made from that Mandalorian, and Mandalorian made it, but I helped him test the bourbon mix. It tastes like Jim Beam.
Yep.
And I put that with the root beer, and that's good. If you ever had Not Your Father's root beer, that's pretty damn close.
Ooh,
I
that's
love
good
that root
stuff.
beer. Haven't had that in a while.
Not your dad's root beer? Yeah, that stuff's good.
Yeah. So that was from earlier. And then tonight we're gonna have a little bit of gaming night later. So if anybody wants to chill and relax after.
Angela's
Oh, where?
door flies.
I am. There is
love-
a Texas-sized horsefly loose in here, and I'm like, those sons of bitches.
Oh, I hate
bite, so
them
we
things.
gotta kill him.
Hate those.
I'm loving that Josh is sitting in the Millennium Falcon right now, or is that a TIE fighter? That could be the little cockpit area for the.
That's a TIE fighter.
Yeah, that is.
So he's gone all fancy. You just got a brick wall with me. Sorry. I'd love to upgrade
Still
at
waiting
some
for
point.
Josh to
Hey,
sing.
look at. I'm right with you there, bro.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just getting
I'm
huge
still in
England
Fresh's
flag.
labs.
It should be one of
Huge
those
England
tickets.
You were right, Chris. That is the Millennium Falcon. You just can't see the other controls.
Oh,
that is awesome. I knew I was right about that. I love being right. I don't know.
good job.
Dude, I tell you, this is probably one of
I
the
don't-
best $20 I've ever spent.
I'm not right about many things, but I'm not often wrong when it comes to Star Wars.
Considering I watched Star Wars for the first time a year ago.
What?
Holy crap.
Yeah. Never
Yeah,
seen it.
when you told me that, I almost shit.
I remember that.
Oh my god. What did you think?
Well, I watched them in order of when they were released.
Okay.
The only way to watch them.
Great, loved them. Still watch them. I've watched them about 8 times each.
God, I've never seen Empire.
The little
Damn it.
kid, Anakin, is an absolute douchebag, and I didn't like him. He really annoyed
Yep.
me. Jar Jar Binks was an absolute. Oh, can't stand him. He ruined the whole film for me. The latest 3, I actually enjoyed them just as a sort of action film. But as for
Jar
being
Jar was
part-
the deciding vote for the Empire.
what's that?
I said Jar Jar was the deciding vote for the Empire.
I liked Solo.
I like Solo.
I liked
liked
Solo.
it just for a
I love Rogue
standalone.
One.
The relationship between Chewie, how it all started, I thought was it was a good idea. Rogue One was
that
a
was
bit
definitely
Oh, I
Rogue
loved
One was
Rogue
pointless.
One.
They
Rogue
didn't-
One was odd,
Tragedy.
but it's canon. It had
I
it
loved
definitely
it.
100% has its place.
odd. I watched it
Absolutely.
twice and I was a bit like, it's all right, it's worth watching, but
So do yourself a favor. If you've got time, go back and watch episode 4 and then watch Rogue One as soon as you're done with it,
because that's where it fits. That's where it's
because
supposed
it
Ah.
fits right before episode 4.
4. Yep.
So
okay,
everything
okay.
that they reference in A New Hope, you'll get by watching Rogue One.
Oh, here goes Star Trek versus Star Wars. Good
See,
job.
Oh, Matt Sinister in there? Is Matt Sinister in the.
Oh, Chris.
No, it's Chris. Star
Oh.
Trek. I binge watched The Next Generation about 2 years ago. That was the only one I watched, and I watched so much of it I can't watch any Star Trek anymore. It is too much.
I've
But-
gotten into the new Picard TV show.
No, I couldn't. Even the sound of Star Trek. I wasted so many hours watching The Next Generation back to
Oh,
back.
Josh, I wanted to let you know I got a news update. All the animals on Mustafar already jumped in lava, committed suicide, so you're free to sing now. You can
So
sing. Go
we'll
ahead.
have a moment of silence for the
Wait,
animals
there's
on
animals
Mustafar.
on Mustafar?
There were, and then they heard Josh was going to sing, and they jumped in.
But yeah, I watched The Mandalorian. Loved The Mandalorian. I done the Clones War cartoon series. That was a bit of a hard push.
Oh, Mowgli's digging real deep.
Firefly, yeah.
I watched
Firefly.
I watched the first episode. It was like a
I'm a brown coat for life, man.
weird
Yeah,
Wild West
Firefly
space
is
sort of
really
mix.
good.
Yeah.
Harry Potter nerds?
No.
Harry Potter's.
Twin
I'm dumb.
Peaks.
I'm
Twin
down with
Peaks
like
is my shit.
Harry
I
Potter.
can get down with some like witchcraft, kind of like wizardry kind of stuff. Yeah.
We gotta know what's Nick's favorite series. He can answer too. He's here. So.
Man, I don't know.
Oh. You
God,
should
now I feel like
know
we're like,
this.
you know, like the what is that, the honeymoon show or whatever? Like,
Oh, the
you
honeymooners.
Man, I don't.
You mean Honey Boo Boo?
To the moon, Alice.
To the moon, Alice.
I don't know
Bang,
what's
zoom.
Nick's favorite series. Actually, he's gonna be like, babe, come on, really?
I
Because
can't
I
wait to
know
hear this. I can't
he's
wait
at
to see
this
this in
point
chat.
right now where he is so tired of like fandoms. He is so sick of Star Wars fandom. He hates Rick and Morty. Like I this is hard. This is
You're
hard.
watching chat yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I think
Yeah,
we're all just
'cause I'm
staring
like-
at it.
We're all staring at chat.
I'm looking at it too.
The reason
Waiting to
everything got
hear-
quiet.
You know, he's just gonna sit there and not answer
Yeah.
just to make us suffer.
Yeah.
Like Nick doesn't. I don't know.
So while Angela's
Yeah,
thinking,
we'll talk about it later.
while Angela's thinking, do either of you two gentlemen have anything to add as far as mental health goes?
Well, I think everybody knows that I suffer from a couple of diagnoses myself. ADHD, bipolar disorder, and potential borderline personality disorder. So I'm almost 40 now, and I've been dealing with these for a very long time. And some days it's felt completely unbearable, and to the point where you just don't want to go on, but you have to. And there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I know it sounds cliche, but it's really not. The thing about bipolar is it's up and down, and the ups are never going to last forever, and neither are the downs.
Right.
It's always going to fluctuate, and so you got to remember that and keep that in the forefront of your mind, that this is not going to last forever. I'm going to make it through this, and just push.
And if you feel it coming down, reach out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Angela,
Reaching
you
out
have
is like the biggest thing.
Angela has a great
Did
point.
it happen-
I think the pandemic has opened and broken some of those walls for us.
Mhm.
It's more people talking about mental health.
Jesus, is that just on vacation?
Duchess is always on vacation.
That just is cooking.
So
Nah,
Lethal,
dude, my whole life
with
is a
your
vacation, bro.
with your bipolar, did it get worse when you had I remember when you had your back injury, when you had your
Mhm.
issue with your back.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, as a man, and I'm not trying to be a sexist at all, but men have it ingrained in their minds that they have to be the breadwinner. They have
Yep.
to be the one to support the family. And when something like that happens and you can't continue doing what it was that you did to bring home the bread,
Yeah.
then that really takes a toll on you mentally. I've had thoughts like, I'm not good enough. Why are they even putting up with me? I can't support my family. This is just it's not right. So, but it's important to, just like I said, remember that that's not the case, and they love you anyways, and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. They're going to be there to help you, get back on your feet. You have people to support you, even if they're not right there next to you. Just like Tim said, reach out. We're always here.
Yeah. No, the only
Yeah, well,
reason
that's-
the only reason I asked was because then it also brings up the point that if you have like bipolar or anxiety, even something like an injury also affects the mental health issue that you have at that time.
Right.
So that was the only reason that I was asking,
Mhm.
because I think for someone like me, or like other people that are watching it that haven't suffered with anxiety, haven't suffered with bipolar, that
Mhm.
if you have something like a back injury or even something like a knee injury or broke your, it will actually have a knock-on effect with the condition
Absolutely.
you're dealing with anyway.
Even severe weather changes or seasonal changes do a lot for a lot of body. That's a big
Seasonal
fear.
depression right here, fall and
Yes.
spring.
Yeah, Chris,
Fall and spring.
that happens. Like Nicholas has bipolar disorder. He is OCD and anxiety, general anxiety disorder, basically everything but schizophrenia. He has all the mental health issues,
Oh,
major
wow.
mental health issues, and this is we have recently been going through the same thing. He's having a
Yeah.
little bit of the down about Angela. You're the one that's working. I'm not, and I'm like, babe, you literally. And I know that it's been. This is May, almost June. He still is on oxygen at night. You guys know this from having COVID. He gets out of breath really quick. I mean,
Yeah.
he's like, how the hell, unless I have a job where I'm completely sedentary, he's like, how am I going to do this? And I'm like, you'll find the right place. So I totally hear what you're saying. And that's what I keep
Absolutely.
telling him. I'm like, it doesn't matter who's working, like
Yeah, we're okay.
physically not able to, like, it's fine.
Yeah, and we're still okay. Is the
Right,
thing. Like,
exactly.
we're still okay.
Yes.
It's not a huge deal, but
I think
it
talking
feels like
Even
it is.
even a sedentary job, um, depending on what your outlying lasting effects are with COVID, because they're different for everybody,
Yeah.
that may not even be the best idea.
He
Right.
gets out of breath going to the mailbox.
Well, just what happens
Like-
if it's an anxious job, or if he has to talk to someone and get really into it, he could get out of breath doing that.
Yes.
Seriously, you can in normal, you can. With
And on the
a
flip
health
side,
issue.
7 years I'd been out of work because of this back issue, and I'd been on that downward slope of the depression for a very long time. This job that I have now is something entirely different that I didn't think I could actually do. And since I've started that job, everything has turned around
Yay!
probably tenfold.
That's
you know,
awesome, Chris.
Everything has
That's
just gotten
awesome.
better. So, it's little things can help bring that up too.
Absolutely. And that's what you do. You celebrate the little shit because that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
And I've definitely seen it in your mannerisms and the way you talk, Chris.
Thank you.
Before you got this job, I know when you took your YouTube break and stuff like that, you were going through some family things, and you and I are friends on Facebook, so you're throwing up these, fuck everybody posts, and I'm like,
yeah,
all right,
I have bipolar days. Yep, I have my
good, right,
bipolar
dude?
days.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Nick's
And
like,
then-
fuck this. I'm ripping everything down and fuck everybody. And I'm like,
And
hey,
then-
hey now.
He's like, oh, I have a potential job lined up, and okay, let's keep an eye on Chris. Let's keep an eye on Lethal. What's going
To
on
be honest
here,
with
dude?
you, we were.
And now he's got the job, and he's like,
community was worried.
Yeah.
Because we're going to anxiety.
Yeah. As soon as I
job.
found out, man, I was jumping up and down. I was happy as a pig in shit.
Yeah.
It just changed everything mentally because you get that feeling that, wow, I can contribute again. I can be a man again.
Yeah.
In a way. I mean, it doesn't make you a man for providing for your family, but as a man, it feels good to feel
I
that.
remember having discussions with you about that before. That was one of the things that was bothering you.
Mhm.
So it's like that was exactly what you needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, like you said, it's ingrained in us as the male species to provide for our partner and our kids.
Natural instinct. Instinct.
The way I look at it it is what it is. You're unable to work, whether it be a physical or a mental affliction.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when even just being out that couple of months with COVID, had I not been paid, things probably would have gotten a lot worse.
Oh, yeah. It's stressful.
But even having that paycheck, but not being able to get up and physically go to work was an issue for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love my job. I mean, I have a license to kill, so
I like my job so much I'm there 7 days a week. I live at
Wow.
my job. And the past 2 days, it's been rainy as hell. So my boss can't go out and do the pool work on site that he's supposed to do. So he's working the shop. I've got the 2 days off, and I'm like, damn, I
Like,
wish
what
I
am
was
I
at
gonna
work.
do with myself?
when can I go back to work? Damn.
I heard
You
you had
know.
a shocking sale too.
Shocking sale. Ha ha ha. Very punny of you. Yeah. Oh, I work in the pool industry. We sell pool chemicals retail, and my boss provides services, maintenance, openings and closings of pools, all chemical upkeep and shit like that. So I just sell the chemicals to the customers that want to do it themselves. But there was last August, you guys might remember Hurricane Laura out down by Louisiana area. And just after that happened, there was a company called Biolabs that burnt to the ground. They lost over 540 tons of chlorine, and they supplied to a third of the nation's pool industries. And they burnt to the ground. There is now a massive chlorine shortage, and we've had no chlorine locks in our shop for over a week and a half. At one point, we just got a shipment in like a day ago.
Oh, wow.
And so I took a video and I posted it up on Instagram and on Facebook and everything. I'm like, come get your tablets. We got your tabs.
You get a tablet. You
It's
get a tablet.
We're the Oprah Winfrey of chlorine tablets.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Not for use as lozenges.
No.
I was
Everybody
in the
look under
pool
your seats,
today.
quick. No, I'm kidding. There's nothing there.
Yeah, you might want to put on a rubber glove before you touch them.
When I was a kid, my dad bought one of those above ground swimming pools.
Yeah.
And they had the little thing that used to bob around. It used to put the chlorine tablets in.
Yeah.
The frog, the flipping frog.
Oh, fuck knows what it was. It was the thing that just floated on top of the wall. I was a kid. I remember my dad putting too much chlorine in there, and I come out and I was just like a demon. All my eyes were bright red, stinging.
Yep.
I stank of chlorine for weeks.
Yeah, we have one. We sell those actually. We sell those flipping frogs. You put little replacement cartridges in them. They're just chlorine.
Yeah, I think I went a lighter shade of white by the end of that. I think it took a layer of skin off.
I know, right?
It wasn't
little
good.
bleached when you came out.
Yeah. Well, that was back in the day. Considering I'm in my 30s now, back when we went to America was when it was like 1.92 to the pound. And my dad bought an above ground pool from Florida, and we smuggled it back, rolled the big liner on the outside into a suitcase. I had to pump that in my backpack. I was only a kid. And we smuggled, including chlorine, we got it all back to the UK, like the tub of chlorine bots. So you couldn't do that now. I'd end up getting nicked for that. Bringing all that chlorine back. But yeah, no, as soon as I saw those chlorine tabs, it brought me back to being a kid. My dad going, get those tablets out. No gloves. Like, Dad, my hands are stinging. You'll be fine. Carry on.
You'll be fine.
Just don't touch your eyes.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Why is my hair blonde?
Don't even stick your face. Just don't even stick your face above the container when you open it, because that's just gonna burn. I'd done that last week. I didn't know what I was doing, and then I opened it. I'm looking right into the thing, and I'm like, that was a mistake.
It was like a game we used to play when we was kids. I know it's a bit irrelevant, but talk about ice sting. We used to play the onion game. We used to go down to the chip shop after school and get a bag of chips. I used to put onion vinegar on top of it, just like cover it and close the lid. And you'd all go outside and you had to breathe it all in, and the first one to cough lost. But everyone coughed. But it's exactly the same as breathing in chlorine. It fucking hurts.
We used to do something similar to that with a tablespoon of cinnamon.
Oh, I've seen them on what was it, on YouTube? That looks freaking horrific.
Where's the donation link?
Right there in chat.
Right there.
I don't know if it's clickable, but
yeah, I noticed that. Why is it not coming up as clickable?
I have no idea.
YouTube, love you so much. You're so awesome.
Where'd Duchess go?
Duchess.
I don't know.
He's probably eating. He's mixing up his margaritas for later.
Yeah.
Margarita time.
Oh, but Tim, have you had much issues with mental health? So I'm trying to bring it back again. We went on to onion.
Well, I mean, I have. My father committed suicide. I had problems then when I was a kid with depression because of that, and then my son died from a malpractice suit and 6 months of severe brain damage because of it before he passed. And yeah, I would say depression definitely kicked in pretty hard. So it actually wasn't until the vape fam that actually pulled me out of it, and I didn't even know how bad it was until I started feeling it go away. It's like,
Bloody hell.
Mm.
yeah.
Community.
I'll kick it off.
Everything.
Shit.
It's like we've said, Tim. Bring back the old school community.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
That's what this is right here. This panel and that chat is. Doesn't matter how long you've been vaping for, 2 weeks or
A
2 or
day,
3 years.
2 minutes.
Or if even
I
if
don't
you're
care.
not
This-
vaping, if you
this
just
is
go harm
representing
reduction, you know, they
People
can be
bringing
here.
back the old school community.
See, this is the community I know, because obviously I've only been a part of the community, I suppose you say, for literally about a year. I've been vaping for four and a half years, but I never really watched reviews, never done anything like that until I decided to become a patron of Nick's. And then I didn't even know what Discord was. And then that popped up, and then I was like, oh, I didn't know about all this lot. And even not getting too much involved, reading how much, and like Tim's Discord is incredible. Like the his one, because you sit there and you can read through these stories, and it's just literally everybody helping each other out, and it's not for any sort of gain.
That's
I didn't-
just
what
I
for
didn't
life
help.
should
know-
be like. It
I
really
didn't
should.
know who Tim or an advocate for liberty was until I heard his name mentioned at the DC rally.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't
I've
know
heard-
who
I've
he was
heard-
until then
I've
either.
heard the name an advocate for liberty for a little while, but didn't know the actual person, seeing the actual person until he was mentioned at the DC rally.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now we talk a lot. We're gonna go visit.
Gonna go visit.
I
We are,
sent him
all of
a-
us.
I sent him a
feel like
link.
somebody else, and I have visited, and it was in DC, wasn't it? Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I
Where's
sent
that?
him a link to a house that's for sale in the same town that he lives in.
Yeah, I saw that.
My wife said, as long as there's a CVS, let's go.
there is a CVS not far from here. Two of them.
She can transfer.
Actually, Tim,
Yeah, that was at your house.
Oh,
You just
wow.
did that the other day. That was at your house on the way there. I picked you up.
yep.
Bloody hell. I gotta be honest with this whole community. I have noticed that there's a lot of people with a lot of self issues, I suppose is the way you can say it, and how open people are about it. And actually will go,
It's
guys,
getting better.
I'm having a shit day. And like before that, I've never heard anyone say that apart from my dad going, "Fuck off, I've got the ump." And that's about the only time I ever heard anybody say that they're feeling bad. And it's nice, and I've got to be honest, it's nice and refreshing to hear people openly and honestly talk about. Like Angela's come on and opened up massively about her issues and the issues she's gone through with her family, and for people to actually feel comfortable enough with a group of people like this is the first time I've met her, and she's been so kind and just was open and honest. And I find it's very hard nowadays to find people like that.
Well, see now, Adam, you now have another friend for life. Angela will not let you go.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm happy
if
with
you've
that.
if you've lost your mom, you've lost your dad, dude. I know all about that. Like my dad was a 4-pack a day smoker.
Yeah.
He was a 4-pack a day menthol smoker. Yesterday was actually 7 years ago that he passed away from COPD, and it's World Vape Day, and he is the reason like that I decided to start vaping
Oh wow.
because I watched him like die slowly from cigarettes. And I'm like, I was out in the hospital parking lot when they were transferring him from the hospital to hospice smoking. And I was like, what the
Really?
fuck am I doing? I'm like, I have got to stop this 25-year addiction to cigarettes.
Wow.
I've got to stop because
Mm.
that is where I'm headed if I don't. And,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
and I
family
did.
members pass away.
And
From,
it's because of vaping. And like I would not ever consider myself a heavy smoker. If I was stressed, I would smoke about a pack a day. But man, I would crush menthols like there was nobody's business.
Oh, wow.
Newports were my jam.
And you know, like I guess for me, I just get it. Like, you know, that like Tim and I one night, that's how Tim and I met. We were in Discord and we just started talking about like bad trauma things. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm like, here's my story. And he's like, here's my story. And I was like, oh my gosh, like we get it. And that's why I've always said, I think that most of us that were, you know, smokers, we started smoking to try to self-medicate because there is some kind of mental health issue that we have. And at 14, I wasn't diagnosed with anxiety. From the time I was a little bitty kid, like my mom died when I was 10. I didn't get anxiety because my mom died. That was something that I was clearly born with because I have been like super type A personality, like everything has to be perfect. It's awful, like my entire life. And I've learned to be
like caffeine, you know, same thing. Get your caffeine in the morning, wake up. Nicotine's the same thing, except for it's throughout your entire day. Same feeling. It's
Chemical
it's that
imbalance.
crutch you need
You mean
to
to
kind
tell
of
me you
get
don't drink coffee all day? What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, seriously, I do it.
Well, no, yeah, but if when you can't get to the coffee, at least you have your vape, right? So,
Yeah.
Addy
like-
Tooney.
It's like with my nan. My nan died of cancer. She smoked. Well, I think she was like 8 or something when she started smoking.
Yeah, they smoked young. My dad was 3.
My nan got really bad. She didn't tell anybody till the breast cancer was like at the end. And as soon as she found out she had cancer, she stopped smoking. Didn't touch it. Stopped when it was too late. And they gave her 6 months. She lived for like 7 or 8 more years. She was a bit of a fighter. She lived right to the end. She ended up going to her lymph nodes, and that's what got her in the end. But she gave up as soon as she found out she had cancer. You think, God, if you only gave up before, why did it at the end you gave up? That's at the point where you just carry on, sort of thing. But I didn't think about that when I started smoking. I thought, ain't going to happen to me, which you do. And I started when I was 11. I had my first cigarette when I started, and it was only because my doctor and I was saying, "Ads, you need to give up smoking. You're looking kind of rough." I was coughing and wheezing. I'm not exactly a small fella. And then my mum and dad were just chewing my ass about smoking, and then I ended up giving up in the end. And you think, shit, why did I even smoke? It's only when you're older in your 30s and you look back, you think, fuck, my nan died because of smoking. And it is mental.
My reason for quitting smoking.
Yeah.
Yep.
My kids are my huge because they would be like, God, y'all stink. Actually, Nick stopped smoking before I did.
I was still smoking when Mackenzie was born. Right up until just before her 2nd birthday.
I had Nick Green.
9 years.
Bloody hell.
I've made it 9 years.
That's crazy.
Awesome, Josh. I'm 6.
Yeah, that just happened. You just had your anniversary, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm only 4.
Yeah, I've just
I'm just a wee one.
Just over 4.
But it doesn't matter.
No.
9 years or 9 seconds.
Yeah.
You're not smoking.
The moment you put out that last cigarette and said, fuck it,
Done.
and you went to that vape shop or you went to that online retailer,
It's all over.
And now
whether
whether
you're
a
dual user or
You're
however
here.
long you need to, you've already made that transition.
Every
Yes,
puff you
because
take
it
off of
starts
this,
with I need to
every puff you
quit.
take off of this, so you're not taking a drag off a cigarette, is a step in the right direction.
Yep.
It took me 3 times for vaping to stick. It did like the whole silica wick things that was not working for me, and I would get super frustrated. I'd throw it down like in the cup holders of my car, be like, fuck this, I'm gonna go buy cigarettes. And that's exactly what I did 2 different times. And then as soon as sub-ohm tanks came out, and I saw that Nicholas spent like $200 at a vape shop, and I'm in Chicago for work smoking my ass off, you know, where cigarettes are $20 a pack because of the county that I was in. And I was like, I need more money. Send me more money. Like, you know, I need cigarettes. And he's like, and I'm like, why did you just spend $200 at a vape shop? And he's like, because I'm done. It's because he didn't want to go outside and smoke because it was cold.
Yeah.
And he accidentally quit smoking. And then he was like, you're going to do this. He's like, you should really try this again. He's like, Angela, the technology has changed significantly. And I was like, okay, cool. If it's Tiffany blue, I'll do it. And I was like, there's not gonna be a damn Tiffany blue vape. Sure as shit, like called like 3 vape shops in the area. He found one and paid too damn much money for an Asmodus Snow Wolf.
Hey,
The
but
old school,
Hey.
good
The
one.
old 200. He was like,
The
"Damn,
good
big
ones.
girl." He's like, "You got a 200-watt box." I'm like, "I don't even know what that means, but hell yeah!" And you know, I was dual using for about 2 or 3 weeks, and that was it. I was done.
Bloody hell. See, I'm trying to get my sister on vaping. She smoked longer than me. She gave up when she found out she was pregnant with my nephew. Didn't smoke the whole time. And then I think he's 1 now, and she started back smoking. She's not smoking a lot, but I keep giving her vapes. And she's like, I can't do it. Can't do it. And it's like, oh, please. It's like, you don't want to be that pushy person, because we all had that pushy person that was trying to push it on there. And the more you push, the more they're going to push back at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
But
My reason for quitting is much like Jedi's. My daughter,
yeah.
she was about 5, 4.5, and she came to me and told me she didn't want me smoking anymore because I was always getting sick, and she didn't want to see that anymore. And so at the point when I was waking up every morning and hacking up a lung and just all sorts of nasty effects from smoking, you know, I had Nick Green on my show maybe 2 years after I started doing YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
And my daughter almost made him cry after the show.
Oh,
She
wow.
came up with like, because she knows how much, you know, I used to watch Nick and how he really helped out, you know, getting me to stay off smoking.
Yeah.
And she just came upstairs on her own. She got right in front of the camera. It's like, thank you for helping my daddy stopping smoking.
Aw.
That
And it
for
was
sure
just
meant
the
everything to
sweetest little
him.
thing. But
Aw.
absolutely, I get your reason, Jedi.
Duchess, are you going to speak
What up,
this
man?
time? You're right, geezer.
Yeah, no, sorry. It was real windy and I was at my brother's house, so I just decided to keep myself muted.
I saw you there 1 minute and I was like, where the fuck's Duchess gone?
Yeah, you know what, dude? Like my brother's area is the worst on mobile data. Like just the absolute worst. So, like I'm sitting there and I'm chilling, I'm waiting for my time, I'm listening, and then it gave out on me and I was like, well,
See you later,
I guess
bro.
I'll
I'm
go
going
jump-
home.
yeah, I guess
I'm
I'll
gonna
jump
head
on in a
over
little
and
bit.
start
I have
get
to
the
change-
other stream started. So if anyone wants to come over and game a little afterwards, they'll still have the Zoom going.
Right,
I'll
sweet.
see you guys later.
Thanks for coming, Tim.
Thanks,
I
Tim.
love you guys.
Yeah, love you
too.
too.
Hey, bud.
Yeah, I've been putting it off. I've been getting hollered at for dinner, but I love y'all. I wanted to stick around with my boys and my lovely Angela. I love you guys, but I'm going to bounce out as well.
Absolutely.
Have a good one. Cheers,
See you,
mate.
Chris.
Bye,
Thanks,
Chris.
bud.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Right, the floor
Absolutely.
is all yours, Duchess.
Duchess, wait, you're going to hell in every what? Yeah! Love that.
Look, I'm not gonna judge. Look, whatever deity you want to try to believe
I
in,
love
that's
it.
fine. But I
Exactly,
promise
I
you,
love it.
I will meet your deity at the end of my life.
I love it.
Oh, that's good.
I don't-
Even
I
the
don't
missus
discriminate.
likes your t-shirt. She was giggling about it when I showed it to her.
Yeah, I don't discriminate.
All or nothing.
That's it. That's what it is. But I mean, since you guys are already on this topic, I actually quit because I was tired of being a fat piece of shit who couldn't breathe. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still a fat piece of shit,
Me
but
too.
I can
Right?
fucking breathe, and that's what counts.
I'm fluffy number one.
Like, I'm in my early, almost mid 30s, right? And it's like when I quit, dude, I was only like 28, 29 years old, and it's just like, how am I supposed to go the rest of my life, but not being able to breathe? Of all fucking things.
Yeah. Was you a heavy smoker?
About a pack and a half a day.
It's anything over one cigarette is more than is too much, isn't it? So even a pack and
Yeah,
a half
dude.
is an awful lot.
I was paying like about 4,500 US a year,
Bloody
like
hell.
annually on cigarettes, bro.
I don't even
Over
want to think about how
$4,000
much
on
money that
fucking
we were
cigarettes a year.
spending on Nicholas's 5-pack a day Marlboro Red 100.
Bloody hell. Yeah, I think when I quit, cigs were £10 a pack. Now they've gone up to nearly £16 for 20 cigarettes, which is what
Yeah.
I thought. What's that? Duchess is. Come on, Mr. Calculator. What's that in
But-
dollars?
Well, what was the pounds again? Sorry.
16
About
pounds?
16.
So you're looking at roughly about $13.
No, it'd go up, wouldn't it? £16.
No, that's what I'm saying. 16 pounds would. Oh, yeah. No, well, you know what? Sorry, I have that backwards. Because it's more expensive for us. It's cheaper for you guys.
Yeah.
So 16 pound, you're probably looking at $22, $23
A
per pack.
packet
So
is so expensive.
like Mohegan Sun prices.
Ooh,
It's like I've got a mate at work that smokes 50 grams every 3 days, and he pays £37 for a pack.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if they are now, but I have been in the Mohegan Sun once. That's why I mentioned it. I was still smoking when I went, and I paid $14 for one pack of cigarettes in 2012.
Bloody
Oh, yeah.
hell. So
not to take away from Duchess, but Addy just threw something up in chat. He went and donated to the David Eric Memorial Fund.
oh, cheers!
So
You can always count on him.
we all know and love Michelle. So I'm putting it out there to Adam and Angela because she's an official part of the panel tonight. Anything that we get that is being donated to suicide awareness is going to go to the David Eric Fund.
I'm happy with whatever. I'm happy with that. Right. So back to the main topic about mental health, and as we've got Duchess on the show, have you suffered from mental health or anxiety or anything like that?
Yeah, I have PTSD.
So you you got tablets for it. I've just said about 20 times, but
I mean,
Is that
look,
better than my
before I
own?
stopped counting, all right, Josh said 57 times. So you're all right.
He's gonna keep going again now. Yeah, but
Nah,
how did you deal with it?
So I don't take tablets or medication for anything. I'm of the very firm mindset that, and it's not true for everybody, but for me personally, right? Again, even though we were joking about my t-shirt, in all seriousness, literally, I'm not going to discriminate, because whatever works for you is always going to be different for somebody else.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? So, you keep doing you. You do what you think is best for you. But for me personally, I've never found that medication works. And so like I don't know if it's just my immune system is too good or what the case is, but I've they've tried to put me on medications like when I was, uh, an adolescent, and they just they always had to keep up in the fucking dosage on it because nothing seemed to nothing seemed to be working until they started having to give me like adult doses when I was like 8 years old.
Yeah, and that's
You know,
not good for you.
yeah. So, um, I mean, what I was gonna say prior is I'm of the very firm mindset for myself personally that medication is a crutch, and I always have other support systems outside of that. That if it really gets bad, and I have my self control, right, but if it ever gets out of control and I need it, then I know I have people like Angela or Michelle or you. Would never call Josh because Massachusetts. Um, I'm just kidding, but in seriously, I reach out to Josh or you know I any number of people, right? And so I mean, I have gone to counseling for it and worked through like all these different you know individual and like group therapies and all kinds of other stuff. And I mean, not to not to make it sound like I'm celebrating it, but luckily my wife also has PTSD, right? So there's always there's someone there, right, that understands what it feels like when you go through one of those weird mental breakdowns. Um, and so, I mean, thank your deity for that. Um, but I mean, I just I just never take medication for it. Like I just refuse to do it because it never seems to work in the first place, right? So it's just like, why am I going to waste my time?
I suppose when you've had that experience as a kid, you just think, nah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and then I'm not going to get into it, but I know Tim knows, and if he was here, he would be able to at least somewhat elaborate with me. But uh, almost, so it's June, so 10 months ago, um, I had a really tragic event happen, which I'm not comfortable getting into at the moment. But I mean, even with that, you know what I mean? Like, I took my 3 days of bereavement from work
Yeah.
and just carried on. That was it. Like, and I mean, like even my missus was like, well, why don't why don't you take some personal time for it? And I was like, I don't get that luxury.
Yeah. Everyone's different. Like you've got your ways of doing it. You need your 3 days and deal with it, and then I don't. This is just from what I'm hearing from you. Say you deal with it, and then you can move on.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that people deal with things in their own way, right? And some people take more time than others,
Yeah.
right? But I've always just been one of those people that's just like, and I don't know if it's because of life experiences or whatever the case may be, but um, I've always just been one of those people that's like, I don't get the luxury to break down. I don't get the luxury to just stop in my tracks
Yeah.
and then halt the rest of life because the rest of life isn't going to halt for me.
I totally understand what you're saying, Duchess. because I have felt that way a lot in my life as well. Like, when my mom died at 10, don't get me wrong, I was sad. Because, I mean, she died in a car accident. So she was literally here one day and gone the next.
Yeah.
And I don't think I really knew exactly how I felt about it until I was about 14. Because everything just felt so bizarre.
Right.
Everything just felt like it was in a big time warp. You know, I remember clearly, like, wanting to crawl underneath like tables in restaurants, and just I would get so embarrassed because my grandmother, that was her daughter, would go around and tell everyone, "Oh, these are my granddaughters and I'm raising them because their mom died." What the fuck do you say in that situation? Like, I was so uncomfortable.
I mean,
Because literally, we're talking like the Walmart cashier had to know that my grandmother was raising me and my sister. And I was like, let's not tell. These people don't know and they don't care. Like, but I realized now as an adult, she was grieving. That was her way of trying to deal with it. You know, this was the daughter she always worried about, because my mom was she was a partier. Like, you know, she was the black sheep of the family, if you will. And like, that was her worst fucking nightmare. She was always like, "Oh, something's gonna happen to Sandy, I just know it." And it did. You know, eventually it did. And she just didn't know what to do with herself. Because all of a sudden,
right.
you know, all of her daughters are grown, and now here's your grandkids, and now you're raising them, and she just didn't know what to do.
Yeah, she went
So,
from being grandma to mom all over again.
and yes, absolutely. To two kids, you know, that two little girls, one was 10, that was me, my sister was 3.
Right.
And we
Yeah.
are in such opposites. My sister and I are like night and day. We are nothing alike, but we're two different generations. Like, she's a millennial and I'm a Gen Xer, you know? And
Right.
she was always like, "Oh, Miss Hip Hop Cheerleader." And I'm like, "Miss Goth Kid Metal." Like, you know, like, Jess and I are night and day, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, I don't know. I understand what you're saying though.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's just, I mean, it really is unfortunate. Um, but I mean, that's just the way that it worked out. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I'm not. I'm an asshole. Most people know this, but
You're our asshole though. Let me say that.
but I'm not. I'm not heartless. You know what I mean? And so it's just like it does still bother me, but again, I don't I don't get the luxury to just stop.
Yeah. It's weird, like listening to all you guys and Tim and Lethal about how different people deal with similar things completely different. Because before, obviously, this vape community, I always look after number one. That's what I was always told. So you look after yourself, and if you got any issues, you just deal with it and move on. Pull your socks up and crack on. And that's how I was
Yeah.
brought up. But be there for other people. So like we were saying earlier, I don't text people. I was terrible at texting. If you had an issue, text me, and I'll give you a hand. But you'll
Yeah.
never get a text from me asking for help, because I was so, don't ask for it. Deal with it. Pull your
Yeah.
socks up and get on with it. It's like when I was a kid, I was always hurting myself. My dad was like, "Don't cry unless I can see bone." that's how I was always brought up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's nice hearing that through other people, like how other people deal with it, and the way that I was brought up isn't the best way of dealing with it, but it was the way I was brought up to deal with it. And yeah, it has
Yeah.
worked for me. Well, I think it has, because I think I'm not a too bad person. But listening to you guys, I feel like I could have probably dealt with things a bit differently. So it's really, I've got to be honest, this episode has actually opened my eyes a lot to a lot of conditions, issues, how people deal with stuff, and how it as just a simple blip in the road to me would be like a bit of an inconvenience, but for someone suffering from anxiety or depression or bipolar, it's not a blip in the road, it's a mountain in the way, and it will affect your whole life. And it makes me feel like I need to be a bit more considerate to people when you hear people moaning about an issue. Like, well, that was that saying, you make a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah.
It might not just be. It might not be that. It may be because there's other issues that you don't know about. So, if anything, I've learned a fucking hell of a lot tonight.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I
think
kind of.
everybody is very different. Like,
Yeah.
Josh and I both have anxiety, but I don't think Josh, like, I think our anxieties are very different. Like, Josh, I don't ever see you as like, like running like 1,000 miles a minute, all
Nope.
like tell the brain, shut down. My brain, it can't.
Right.
And, Josh's anxiety is very different than mine. But, like, Josh, I have to give you 100% like credit. When I was having some really, really dark times this summer, you're the reason that I kind of came back, because I was done. I was like, okay, I'm done here. Because I really was in a really, really bad, low place, and I didn't want to talk about that. I didn't want to say, I avoided everyone because I didn't know what to say. Everyone was coming to me, and I'm sure they were coming to the other ladies, if that's what she said, and saying, what happened to your show? And I didn't want to talk about it because I was so sad that it was over. I was really, really depressed because I didn't get a say-so in this.
Yeah.
Not my channel.
Right.
I
mean, and Adam, to your point, right? Like, you're talking about, just pull your socks up and move on, right? Like, um, maybe you guys might word it slightly differently in the UK, but I'm pretty sure maybe Josh and Angela have heard it this way. I mean, my mom always was just like, like I would come in crying, right, as a kid, and she'd be like, "Are you bleeding? No. Are you dying? No. Well, then you're fine."
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it's just like, well, if you're not seriously injured, then just move on. Like, what are you crying? What are you crying for? You know what I mean? And so, like, that's just the way that I grew up. You know what I mean? So I think that, like, in turn, obviously that plays like a small part in the way that I operate. Like what I was saying, like I don't get the luxury to just stop.
But thinking about it, you guys
whether it's well, and I mean, and whether it's like a mental breakdown or from PTSD, or some tragic event happens, like there's a bereavement in the family or whatever the case is. I mean, again, I just pick yourself up, keep going.
But listening to you guys,
my anxiety is 100% shut down.
Mine is a lot too.
There's no go. When it happens, it's immediately wherever I'm at, shut down.
Yeah.
It's weird thinking about it, like the whole fact that I said that I just sort of move on, like pull your socks up type thing. It's made me think literally just on the spot that there could have been times where maybe I should have said something, something that's happened when I was a kid. If I would have not just pulled my socks up and go, actually, there's something wrong, it could have helped me more when I was a lot younger, or even now. Like if something goes wrong, I just sort of do like, right, that's dealt with. I just need to move on, just get on with life, keep going. And I think, is that me just blocking shit off? And it'll come to a point where there's just that one thing that pushes you over the edge, and then I'm full blown meltdown. I don't know, because I've never hit that point. But I've just been thinking about it as you guys were talking. Like, is it just like you've put that barrier up and those emotions that you guys, when you have that anxiety or like Lethal is bipolar, you talk about it, you can, it's like when you talk about it, the issue's halved, that old saying. Where is it in my mind, and probably Dutch's as well, because he's the way you say is very similar to mine. Is that just building up to a point where you haven't dealt with it, you've just pushed it into the back of your mind, but it's still there?
For me, that's a yes, or at least it used to be.
Yeah,
It used to be it would come to a point where everything would just boil up and then
yeah,
boil over, and I would either completely shut down, not talk to anybody, and be like, be that I'm fine guy,
yeah.
or I would just lose my shit. And
Mm.
whoever was in my path got shit on.
Describe your losing your shit, Josh. If you're comfortable with that.
Yelling, swearing, crying, inconsolable, everything.
Yeah.
Like every emotion that anybody ever has, scared, sad, happy, pissed off, it all just came out at once.
Are you like shaking a beer and then ripping the top and it's just
Champagne.
okay, so is it like mine, and it's gotten a lot better with for me with my meds about like having a meltdown over something as simple as why are there dishes in the sink? And now we're gonna get a divorce because there's fucking dishes in the sink. Like completely losing all rational thought.
Yeah,
With
maybe
crying,
not so
screaming,
much the dishes, but see a lot of
but
mine
something like that.
stems
Something
from
trivial.
yeah, it's usually something really trivial that has to do with work
Yeah.
because my boss is a knob.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm the same way as you two. I'm a bottler.
I am too.
I
Like my mom's
not
a
so much
bottler,
anymore.
and just I picked it up from that way. Like I don't I'm not an openly emotional person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, you've always got
Um,
that
and,
stone face.
and yeah, I mean, I'm just like I'm always perpetually angry. Like everyone's always like, "What's wrong with
Resting
you?"
bitch face.
Nothing. Nothing. I'm fine. Like, stop asking. Like, what are you asking for? You know? Well, you look like you're pissed off. No, I'm good, bro. I promise. I'm fine.
I'm
Right?
smiling.
Right? Like this is my smile.
Yeah.
Um, and so I mean, I've always just been a bottler, right? And then I get to that point and shake up the Coca-Cola in a glass bottle and pop that top and let the carbonation flow.
Oh, Coke in a
Like,
glass bottle's the best.
yeah, yeah, dude, it is. But you know, for the purposes of the analogy, right? Like that's just the way I always am. Like, and I
My
don't, I feel bad for it, right? Because like Jedi said, like anyone who
Oh,
just happens to be in the
you're
line of
an
fire,
innocent bystander.
unfortunately, they get the blunt of it, right?
Yeah.
Like I did it one night, and I'm not going to go into details, right? Because I'm not going to call people out, but I did it one night in the Cool Kids Club. I blew up on somebody for something small,
Oh.
and when they were like, "Oh, well, way to go," and I was like, "Fuck you guys suck my dick," and I just fucking left.
Uh, yes.
You know, and I mean, I feel bad for it. Don't get me wrong. Like I do have remorse,
Yeah.
but I mean, at the time, right? Like all that anger and all those different like emotions are just like piling up, and you're just like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't even care anymore.
So
Yeah.
what do you guys do to deal with like these feelings of anxiety or PTSD, or like what do you like do that helps you deal with it?
So my wife
Um,
has a very good way of she's the are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? She's definitely that person, but it used to piss me off because I would always be like, yeah, I'm fine, leave me alone.
Because
Right,
it feels intrusive.
And now that things have been managed and are a bit more in my control, it usually only takes once for her to ask that, and it's either, yeah, I'm good, or I get diarrhea of the mouth. If there is nobody to talk to, because mind you, I do work the overnights and not everybody is awake when I am, I will just either throw that into something at work, or if nobody's home and I don't feel like talking, I will reach into one of my Addies, pull it apart, clean it, rebuild it, and wick it and vape it. I did that the other day.
So tinkering helps
yeah.
you deal.
It just kind of being able to do something and focus on one thing versus everything else that was happening inside my head at that moment. I did it the other day. I pulled out the new QPMR that I got,
Yeah.
Ooh, I
ripped it
want that
apart,
one so bad.
cleaned it. I rebuilt it with one of Duchess's 28s, I think. Wicked it, filled it, and just sat there on the couch with just the TV. Just with just the light and the fan going, and was just in my own space.
Yep.
And I get home at different hours every day. I don't have a set schedule. I go out at 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I could come home at 1 o'clock in the morning. I could come at 5 o'clock in the morning. But I always need that half hour to an hour before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Whether it be sitting and watching a movie or an episode of a TV show, or just sitting quietly. I just need that decompression. And then I can go to bed and I'm fine.
I was a bit different. I was a very angry, punchy child, shall we say, at school, and I was very boisterous. And I'd sort of punch first and ask questions later. As my mum said, I was quite a feral child.
I love that.
Yeah. So I was always fighting with my mates, just being an arsehole. And then when I got my full-time job that I do now, I realised that I couldn't be that person because I'd lose my job, I'd lose my money, and I needed my money to go out with my mates. I came close quite a few times to losing my job for losing my top. But then I've done the same job for 14 years.
Wow.
My fuse has gone from nothing to I've got a really long fuse. And my way of dealing with when I lose my shit is if someone's chewing my ass, and my wife will tell you this, I find something funny about them. So they might have a jangly bit on their neck, or like they got a tooth that's a funny colour, and I'll just concentrate on that, and I won't let it bother me, and I'll let it all swim over. So rather than getting angry, I'm just concentrating on something. I'm listening, but I'm not letting it anger me. And then when it's done, I'm like, okay, fine. And I'll just move on. I very, very rarely get angry now. I very rarely lose my shit. Because I've just got to the point where I just don't let shit bother me anymore. Road rage is the only thing that I do get. I'm not a get out of your car. I will punch the hooter and I'll call you a dick out of the window because I hate bad driving. And that's about as far as I get. And even that I'm trying to cut down. But I've been quite lucky because if I didn't get a full-time job from when I was 18, I think I'd have been an absolute night. I would have got myself into serious trouble. I nearly did a couple of times. But I think I've been quite lucky that I've had to find my own way of dealing with things. Because my own real issue was just being an angry, horrible child, teenager. Because I was 6 foot at 15. So I've always been a massive child. So I was always the big boisterous one. I was pushing people around. I was the kid at school that would give you wedgies and...
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I was a horrible child. And then I went back to a reunion about 10 years ago and everyone's twice the size of me and I got wedgied and pushed about.
Yep.
But now I laugh at it. So I'm so laid back, I'm asleep. But yeah, that's how I deal with any issue. Or like with the wife, she'll go, "You right, Ads?" And I'm like, "You just leave me alone for a minute. If I can't get away from the situation, I'll just give me 2 minutes, because I know I've got a gob on me, and I know she'll know if I'm in a bad mood. And I'll say, look, just give us a couple of minutes. I'll get over it in a minute. I don't want to chew your ass out when
Right.
you're not the issue. you're the only one here that I like at the moment. Because I'm very much, I hate everybody or I like you. One of those ones.
Yeah.
Like, you're a dick, you're especially a dick. But you know, I don't want to
cool.
go.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Screw you guys.
Yeah. But yeah, I've just had to learn to be like, cool, long fuse. It takes a lot to wind me up. An awful lot. I thought she was laughing at me then, but she's asleep. But yeah, that's how I've dealt with stuff. As a kid, I didn't deal with anything. If I thought you were looking at me funny, I'd hit you first.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was a bit of a horrible child. But then I grew up to be what I think quite a nice person. I'll toot my own horn on that one.
You should be a comedian. That's
Oh,
funny.
cheeky
What
shit.
about you, Duchess? How do you deal?
Actually, I am a recluse through and through. I I hunker down, leave me the fuck alone, and just leave me to my vices for a little while.
That's how Nicholas is.
Eventually I'll come back down. I'll come talk to you when I'm ready, right? But I mean, the positive thing to it, right? And most people would say this is crazy, but I swear to God, Google it, right? I know Angela knows what I'm talking about here too. Google this. Believe it or not, metalheads are actually the most calm people in the entire world.
Absolutely.
And it's scientifically proven.
I wrote a blog about that for Death Wish.
Yeah. So, I mean, luckily I'm a metalhead through and through, right? Like, you give me it and I'm good, right? So I mean, I have, a bad time, AirPods automatically go in and Slaughter to Prevail is getting turned on, or Mental Cruelty, or you know, fucking Cattle Decapitation or something, right? Like that's my zone. That's my peaceful place. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, right? For those that don't listen to that kind of music, but that's always been my happy place. It sounds weird, right? Because like most of their music is about like blood and guts and slitting the neck of a child or some shit, right? And feeding it to a witch. But like that's my happy zone. It's real weird, but
Yeah.
that's where I am, right? But also, much like Josh, since I've gained the ability to do so, and I know Adam would probably understand this, right? Periodically, when that music does go on, like if it's real bad, um, I just I sink myself into a build because that focus of trying to set everything up in order to actually like get to that end goal, and like all the prep work you have to do in order to get to that end goal is just there's a serenity about it.
Yeah. It's taught me a lot of patience.
And so like having that tinkering sort of thing there, much like Josh with his with his Addy, and he said he was ripping stuff apart and rebuilding it. I mean, I have come to do stuff like that where it's like, you know what, because I know this is going to take me a long ass time and I'm going to have to focus severely. We're going to do some Fralians.
So I've noticed a lot of a lot of coil builders are ex-addicts.
Oh yeah.
A lot of them.
Yep.
And
A lot of vapors in general.
yeah, I didn't think about that. And it's mental.
Real quick though, Adam. I don't mean to interrupt you, right?
That's right.
But language matters, bro. So we need to change that from addict to person with dependency, because you're always a person first.
Spot on. So I forgot what you just said. It's 2:40. I forgot exactly what was the wording you used.
Person with
So
dependencies.
Okay.
person with dependencies.
So a lot of coil builders and vapors are persons with dependencies. And
There-
God,
Good job.
I need a round of applause for that. Fuck me. Yeah, do you reckon that's down to the tinkering side of it, where it's keeping those hands busy?
I mean, I would say so, because I mean, like, if you've listened to, and I know this is probably like the biggest story out there, because I mean, if you know anything about him, you've heard this story at least once. But I mean, that's kind of the way it was for Mike, right? Like, building is what got him sober.
Yep.
I saw that video on Instagram that his missus put up. That was horrific.
Yeah.
It seems
What
to be
do
a
they
lot of
say?
people.
Idle hands are the devil's plaything.
I've heard that before. Yes. It's incredible how something simple as that has helped millions of people, not just to get off smoking, but to help with their dependencies that they want to change, and help with their like with Josh, he'll rip shit apart. If he was still smoking, he wouldn't been able to have done that.
No, I'd be outside ripping like 12 butts in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But then he
I
does
mean,
something
to
constructive.
be fair, he probably would have been still ripping shit apart. It just wouldn't have been constructive, right?
Yeah. Right. It's a funny old world how something as simple as vaping has brought even this show, this topic. Because I wouldn't have known Josh, Duchess, or yourself, Angela, if it wasn't for vaping. It's mental. Do you know?
Cool.
And
It's really cool.
I'm happy, and
Either Adam's fading or he's getting into the fields.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of both. I was gonna say.
I've slowly started to lean as well. If I just disappear, just crack on. It's fine. But
See,
you might hear a little snoring in the background.
I'm a little bit like all of you guys, but I'm also a little bit different. Like how I deal with my shit.
Yeah.
I will either obsessively throw myself into being busy. So I'm obsessively like working
I've seen
just
that.
being crazy busy, right? Or I write. Like writing for me is my escape. And, you know, I pour my heart and soul into my blogs. Because I want people to be able to read them and go, that's exactly how I feel. Or holy shit, this girl just told everybody about how she peed her pants. Because, you know, that's just, sometimes you just need to piss your pants.
Oh, tell me about it. I can agree with you on that. I've done that plenty of times.
You know,
Head over to
consider me Miles Davis.
Right. Head over to ardentlyangela.com right now.
Yep.
Sorry,
and I'm very open about like one thing that's really bothering me right now with my anxiety is I'm physically about to have to go back to my office. I'm in Texas. We're open and they're calling us all back into the office
already.
And I'm really like the idea of being around other people. Even though all my work people, my peeps are cool people, it's the idea of just being like there. It's a change. So I'm not dealing very well mentally with this change. So I'm trying to like all weekend. Today's what, Saturday here?
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta go. I've got to be back in the office on Wednesday. Oh my God. Like I'm already freaking out about it. Like, and it's just been like this crazy, like greyhound on a track. Like, let's just run this damn dog like over. I'm just obsessing over it. And I'm like, why am I worried about that? I don't know. It's a fear.
Yeah. I know
It's a fear.
my wife, they were talking about bringing them back to the office, and I know she does suffer from anxiety as well. She has done for quite a few years, and because she's got chronic asthma as well, she's petrified to go back in the office. Because where she works, there's like thousands of people in their office. It's like a big multi-story building. She's like, I can't get in the lift, and I'm not walking up. Like, she's on like the 16th floor. She's like, I physically won't be able to walk up the stairs.
Like for me, it's like, you know, getting in the car and driving.
It's the process.
Like, for me, it's a little bit more than that. Like my anxiety has gotten so out of control that when I get on the highway, I have a full-blown panic attack. That's when I decided that I needed to be medicated. And I can tell you, like right now, it's helping. I don't feel as like that the hamster is running as fast, but I still feel hamstery.
Yeah.
So it's about, for me, we need to switch something out because it's not slowing me down enough that I'm like, it's cool. I can get in the car and I can just drive. It's fine without like pulling over, crying, like, you know, dealing with Dallas traffic. Like I don't feel like I can do that yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that came from, but it's a fear. I know anxiety is fear, but I'm like, what am I afraid of? I don't know. I think it's the fear of being trapped.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I talk about this like in my blog because I'm like, this is very real. And I know that I'm not the only person. I have to like, you know, throw my demons out there because I'm like, I know other people have these demons too.
Yeah.
You know? So.
It's weird when you're talking about, like, you said your tablets, you're starting to hamster roll, but your tablets are helping you, but you're still going. It just from you saying that is, you get to that point where you don't want to like over medicate and not be you to being like.
Because there's upsides to anxiety. Like I get shit done. Like when I feel crazy, like when I call crazy like myself, like then I'm gonna go clean this house. I gotta do a whole bunch of laundry, and it's done. That's the upside of anxiety. But the bad side is you're laying in bed and you're like, I can't go to bed. I need to go to bed because I have to work tomorrow. Why can't I go to sleep? And that's where, like Josh was talking about, just being quiet. I have to put myself in timeout and be like, just don't do anything. Just don't. Just chill. Just watch Netflix, like go swim in the pool, like whatever you need to do. Just chill.
So, like when you're saying the hamster ball starts rolling, to me that sounds like that's probably easier to handle than a full-blown sprint hamster.
It's think of it kind of like a tachometer.
Yeah.
Like I start green and then I start getting a little squirmy because I'm like, okay, now I'm in the yellow zone.
Yeah.
And then panic attacks are red.
Yeah.
Where I'm crying, I'm cussing, I'm screaming at people because the dishes didn't get done. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, my missus is a recluse too when she has her panic attacks and stuff, and there's literally nothing I can do about it because she'll lock herself in the bathroom, right, or in the toilets, and when she's ready to come out, she'll come out, and then after that, she just wants to cuddle, and that's it. She just wants to lay there, and she wants to cuddle, and she wants to try to feel better, and like just finish calming down, right? But when it sets on, oh, it's fucking bad.
Yeah.
I really don't want this to sound patronising, but I feel so sorry here, like the way that you guys are talking, like how, like with you just trying to get to work. I feel so bad that you actually have to deal with shit like that.
To be fair, the I-35 is really fucking scary.
It's because I just feel a bit of a douche. Like,
24, 95. Yeah, some pretty shitty highways.
Yeah, I just feel a bit of a douche moaning about little things that piss me off when I really don't have much to moan about.
Don't don't feel like that
No.
because
It's not a
Yeah.
dick swinging contest. It's just
yeah,
like
no,
we're all different.
Yeah.
We're all different. But I know that there's somebody out there that's like, holy shit, this Angela chick sounds just like me. Or I know somebody that sounds
Yeah.
like that. Cool. You know?
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you guys are just openly talking about it.
We
Because-
have to be.
Because
We
there's
have to.
people
It's the
now in this
only
chat
way
that you'll
that-
get
yeah,
other
this-
people to start talking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, like,
you can't
I'm
like hide it.
No.
You can't. Because then like you allow like the stigmas to come with it. That
Yeah.
it's like, oh, don't hire Angela because she's fucking crazy and like we don't want to deal with her. Blah, blah, blah. But what do you get? Yeah, you get to deal with me like worrying about shit like, oh, we shouldn't do that because what if this happens? But then you also get somebody who's very creative and who's very, very productive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know,
That's crazy. Yeah, it's
it's not all bad.
no,
No.
It's
definitely
not all
not.
bad. And we've got to stop treating it like it's just this huge, awful burden.
Yeah.
I mean, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. There are good days and bad days. But,
I suppose I'm only taking from it the bad things because it's new to me hearing about it, like how you deal with a bad situation or when things go a bit rocky. I'm thinking, fuck me, like I get a bit pissed off and I think my day's ruined over something stupid. Where
I mean, Adam, I get
Yeah.
excited. I build websites because I'm like, oh, this is fun. This is cool. Watch this.
it took me a year to build a website, and that's even trying to work out how to get the logo on there.
2 days, and it's done.
you
And
still
it's
can't
up,
even get a hold of
it's
Facebook.
crazy.
Yeah, I can't use Facebook.
No, I mean, Adam, don't. I mean, not just because it's us, but don't
Yeah.
feel as though. Don't feel bad for anybody that is feeling the way that they do.
Yeah.
or feeling like your problems are smaller now that you're listening to us.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
You're better off in your position not have had to deal with any of these afflictions by listening to people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you right fucking now, you're an amazing listener. Your wife as well.
Well, thank you.
So
I
don't-
like listening
yeah.
and trying to help people, and I think this may be the reason why a lot of people that don't deal with it don't talk about it to people or ask too many questions because they do feel like uneasy. Would that be the right word to use?
Sure. Absolutely.
About talking about that sort of thing, asking questions like, how does this make you feel? Well, how do you deal with it this way? Because it is an uneasy conversation really to have with someone when you don't know and you've got preconceptions about it.
yeah.
But I think,
mean, talking about it is just like it's kind of taboo. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
oh,
Like,
massively, yeah.
you don't. This isn't things that we talk about. You should always be happy. Just go out and have a good time. It's fine.
No. Life
Right?
is
Like-
not all sunshine and kitty cats, man.
No,
It's
it's
not.
not. But I'm just saying, like, that's unfortunately the way the world works. Is that it's taboo to have this kind of conversation.
They want to under reg sweep it all the time and be like, we're not going to talk about that. Well, we're gonna talk about it because I
Yeah.
think that's part of the problem, Duchess, is that for so long people didn't talk about it. And now because of the pandemic and they look around and they're like, shit, everybody's kind of depressed or, feeling anxious or now because of that, I think that's what's bringing a lot of this to light. That it's
Yeah.
like, hey, it's okay to not be okay.
It's like even at my work in the last couple of months, we get an email. I get an email once a month saying, if you feel like you're having a mental health crisis, email this team and we can help you. It's like,
That's awesome.
I've worked here for 14 years and we ain't ever had none of this. It's like, it's only literally been during the end of the pandemic, right at the end, when obviously people were going off long-term sick with stress and all this other thing. They think, oh shit, we might need to do something about this. That
I mean, we've all had people. We all know somebody who has passed from COVID, or know somebody who knew somebody.
yeah,
People are
Yeah.
dealing with literally their lives have been flipped upside down.
Mhm.
Losing their job, losing their home, losing whatever, and I think that's created a lot of uncertainty and anxiety in people and depression.
yeah,
And now they're maybe in a totally different industry because they couldn't get a job in X anymore
yeah,
because all the positions are filled, or they're having to maybe take a job that they didn't necessarily like, or whatever,
mm,
to just keep food coming in their house. There's people like and I'm sure you guys saw it too, lines for miles here for people for food banks,
mm,
Yeah.
that people that had never ever needed help suddenly found themselves in the line needing help to feed their kids, to just bare necessities, you know
Oh,
I mean,
we needed it too. When I was out of work, and even my wife, because she ended up getting it as well. We we reached out to whoever we could, and we were lucky enough to get some assistance through like Catholic social services and
right,
whatnot.
Oh, we were sending food parcels out to my wife's a lot in because she quite a lot of her family still live in Bangladesh, and she was losing family members left, right, and centre out there because of
me,
where a lot of their family live out in like little villages where they don't have hospitals,
right,
and there was phone calls going saying we can't afford like medicine, we can't afford food, so people were just clubbing together just to get them through, and it's scary. And then when you see it happening in built up places like America, in the UK, like lines of people that are in that would have been in suits going to and from work having to take handouts because
right.
Yeah. Standing in line in pajamas now.
yeah, it's it's scary, and I think a lot of people that didn't think that thought they were untouchable didn't think they would be in that position.
Yes,
And I think,
absolutely.
and I hoped it. I really hoped, but I think I was very optimistic, thinking it would have humbled a lot of people.
No,
I don't know. I think
maybe
we're gonna
maybe
find
where
out.
you're at,
Yeah,
I think we're gonna find out.
definitely, possibly, maybe where you're at. But when you look at the state of things here, uh, Texas has been open for how long? Florida's been open for
Yeah.
how long?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Arizona's back open too. They also
Um,
just did the they
Today,
also just did the no mask mandate thing.
yep,
So
Mass just rescinded the state of emergency and the mask mandate.
well, we're opening
mhm.
up fully 17th of next month. I get my first vaccine tomorrow at today at midday is my first vaccine.
And you guys are opening like in steps, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, they just went done.
Yeah, Texas just said no
They've
mask.
Yeah, that's
and it may not even open up on the 17th. Old Boris was saying that he's going to revisit it in the next week, and he may push it for a bit longer. But
that bloke's a nuts, bro. I don't think that shit's open on the 17th.
it won't. He wants his pub open. That's it. As long as his pub's open, he's happy. He
Yeah,
can't get pissed at
right.
his mates. But it's mental. Like we've got
watch
the
watch a football match.
Well, we had the Champions League today earlier on, and people were out in droves. And being British, you're not allowed to be in the pub, so the street are lined with people with beers. They'll go one to one to the pub, get the beer, and you can stand outside. So the whole of London is one big pub at the
Put
moment.
the TV in the window of the pubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's it's mental, but I as I said before, I hope it humbled people and people reached out to friends and realised that obviously we're not all untouchable, And even like when Tom Hanks got COVID, everyone was like, "Oh my god, it must be bad. Tom Hanks has got it." Like, well, he still is a person at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And it wasn't until Tom Hanks Forrest Gump got COVID that everybody really started to care. It's sad it has to take a celebrity, just because he's in films doesn't make him like a god or anything, that people's like, oh, actually, it might be quite bad. They wouldn't listen to the news, but they'll listen to Tom Hanks on his phone from a bed going, COVID's fucking horrible. I don't think that's actually what he said, but...
I mean, look, this guy is a master at isolation, bro. Have you never seen Castaway?
No.
You gotta listen. You gotta listen to Tom Hanks.
Well, you can even hear in these celebrities. A lot of English celebrities are doing it now. They're doing like a lot of fundraising for mental health charities and stuff. Yeah. So it's got to the point now where everybody's doing stuff about it over here. But as I said at the beginning, 99% of it is for teenagers and kids. There's very little for adults. They reckon if you're an adult, you just gotta deal with it. Or we've got Samaritans. Don't know if you have them over there, but basically, if you're in a mental health crisis, you call this number, and there's just a bloke at the end of the phone that just talks to you, and that's pretty much what we've got over here. But loads for kids, shit tons for kids. But I suppose get them young. I don't know if it works that way, but.
So I think we've reached a point where we can start wrapping things up. I think we've
2.5 hours
pretty well at discussing the main topic. I'm saying because Duchess is here. That's what, 62 now?
Well, that's
World Vape Day. Go share your story on Twitter.
Yeah.
World Vape Day. WVD 21.
21.
Hashtag. Yep. Tell your story. Retweet other people's stories. Let's make this motherfucker trend.
Let's get that hashtag trending. So usually how we wrap things up, seeing as how we pulled a dangle clack and weren't able to record, it'll still be up here in the YouTube lands, but we're gonna wrap things up by some shout outs and adding some songs to our Spotify playlist. And Duchess may not have been here for the whole panel, but he can feel free to add a couple of songs if you'd like.
Do you want to add some songs, Duchess?
Yeah, I also need to start thinking about what we're gonna do next Sunday too.
Right.
Well, because Angela didn't go first that time at the beginning, Angela can go first now.
Look,
so
Angela goes first.
Do you guys want to know why Angela goes first?
Yeah.
Oh, I know the story of Angela goes first.
Do you?
Yeah. Michelle told me it.
What is it?
I'll let you explain this since it's your story.
Okay. Angela goes.
I don't want to steal your glory.
Angela goes first because her social anxiety is so bad. Let's just get it over with. That's why Angela goes first. So if I go first, then my part's done.
Yeah, because if you guys have never noticed, once she's done, she just sits there and she's a listener. She doesn't say anything else.
I take it all in.
The true empath.
Yep, absolutely.
Right, Angela, do you wanna give us your shout out? So
I'm not good at like shouting myself out, but if you guys want to follow my crazy life, you can go to ardentlyangela.com. Go check out my blog. I used to write for Death Wish Coffee. I used to write for Vape News, and I used to write for Vaping. But I'm just a vapor like everybody else, and I'm very happy to be here with you guys. And please understand, if you suffer, you're never alone. There are plenty of us that have mental health issues, and it's okay to not be okay, but please take care of yourself. And it's okay if you need to go quiet for a little bit and just be like, hey, I need some downtime, that's okay. You know, be good to each other. Keep on vaping. That's my sign out.
Oh, you missed the last thing. We'd like to pick one person that we would like to give a shout out to someone. So if
Someone
there's
who's made a positive impact in either your life or in the vaping community.
My life or the vaping community. I'm going to give a shout out to Mike Smiter from Queen City Vapes.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Spider-Man is
Spider-Man.
always funny. He sends me the most ridiculous pictures of like weird animals and like what they're doing in Canada. And I'm like, what the hell? Why do you have these giant rabbits running loose? That's just what they do in Regina. So he makes my day.
And
Outstanding.
you picked two songs, which was The Clash, Career Opportunities, and the Ramones, Rock and Roll Radio.
Yeah, because the Ramones, baby, that's my favorite band of all time.
They will be added to the Across the Pond podcast playlist. So I'll whack it in the description as well, so you can go give it a follow and have a listen. Duchess, my man. Your turn.
So, considering this is in Codename Wired, normally it would be hashtag Duchess goes last because Angela goes first. But considering this isn't our show, I can deal with going second. So no, but in all seriousness, as far as a shout out, honestly, like I'm still deciding that one. But if you do want to find me anywhere, then you can find me on IG. That's at Duchess_coils. The order form link is on my page. You can also go to duchesscoils.com and click the little chain link looking logo up in the right hand corner. That'll take you to the order form. Obviously, there's a little camera thing next to it that takes you to my IG. So either way, you can find the order. I am in the works of adding things to the menu. I'm still doing some R&D, so hopefully we'll have new things up there soon. But as of right now, what's on there is what's currently offered. Otherwise, you can find myself and Adam next Sunday right here on this channel at 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern, 8:30 British summertime for episode 4 of Codename Wired. So if you've ever wanted to know what building is about, or you had questions, or whatever the case is, come tune in, ask us questions, jump in the chat. It's all a fun time. Or you can send us an email at codenamewired@gmail.com. I almost forgot our email, sorry. And I'm the one that set it up.
2 songs.
Go figure. So 2 songs. We're gonna go with Hollow from Heart of a Coward, because Jamie Graham has just one of the most amazing metal voices ever.
Yep.
And we're gonna go with Doomsday, the piano reprise though, from Architects.
Lovely jubbly.
As far as shout outs go, you know what? I would have to say Adam, actually. I mean, because like this whole time, right? Like throughout this journey, ever since he asked about starting the show and everything else together, like I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of getting a little tired and things were becoming a little repetitive, and I was like, I don't really know if I really want to build anymore. But since then, since we do the challenges, it's kind of started to revitalize that interest and whatnot. So I'm gonna have to say Adam. Thank you.
You make me blush. Cheers, mate. Do you want to go next, Josh?
Sure.
I mean, you're still a twat, but
Oh, we all
thank
know
you.
that, but
Well, yeah, definitely. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us. We know it's been a bit of a long one. These specials tend to go, and that's just how we are. We just kind of go off tangent and talk and whatnot. But I am the Vaping Jedi. You can find me on Instagram at _Vaping Jedi. You can find Across the Pond on Facebook, Across the Pond US UK. You can find us on every platform there is for podcasts. With the exception of tonight's episode, going forward, we will continue on with recording the audio and putting that out there for you folks who like to listen in and didn't get a chance to watch on the live, because after tonight, we're 100% live.
Woo! Sorry if I just burst
and
everybody's eardrums.
you can send us an email at across the pond US UK at gmail.com. That's open for anybody and everybody. Questions, insults, whatever you want to put in there. Show ideas. We'll throw a link in the description of this video to our Discord. That's started to take off. I think we've created a bit of a monster with it, but
yeah,
it's
great
been
fun
a bit
though.
fun, especially with Dixon Ciderbush with all the insults and whatnot.
I think that was the best channel I've ever created.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Your best insults.
So I think that's pretty much it. Links in the description for everybody that's here will be there. The links for donations and the link for our PayPal for those donations are on there. My shout out is a local guy. He used to own a shop before Massachusetts did away with just about everything. You may have heard the name, you may not have. It is Leon. I'm going to butcher his last name because I always do. Gorgiolis. I fuck it up all the time. He's a Greek dude from London, and he moved over here, and he's just an epic person. He owned the Vapeology shop in West Bridgewater, Mass. He currently owns the Billy Billet Box accessory store. He is the president and owner of LDNE Mods, formerly HDNE. And if you're into it, wantoliveoil.com. Probably the freshest Greek olive oil you'll ever have. Just an epic person, give you the shirt off his back kind of guy. Has continued on where others have stopped in the industry, in the community. But he's just a great dude. My two songs were mentioned earlier, but I'm going to say them again. Monkey Wrench by the Foo Fighters. And this is a local band. It's actually a friend of mine from high school. Surface by Seeking Sirens. Great song. Every time I listen to it, I just fall in love with it even more.
I don't think I've ever heard of that. I'm gonna have to definitely give that a listen.
I sent you a link in Discord.
Oh, is that the one you sent me?
Yeah. So I think, other than Adam, we're on our end. What do you got, bud?
Just realised in an hour and 40 minutes, I've been up for 24 hours. So I'm quite impressed. But yeah, so I apologise if I went off on tangents or I'm not drunk. I'm just very tired. I think I've done quite well. But what have I got to do? Right. Coils. If you want coils or merchandise, it's thecloudcarteluk.com. We've also got official Across the Pond merchandise on there. Get your t-shirts and hoodies. We do fluffy sizes. So you'll go get yourself some of that. What else? Instagram is the Cloud Cartel UK. Facebook is the Cloud Space Cartel UK, and Twitter, I can't remember what it is and I don't use it. So just hit me up on those ones if you want to follow us. Follow Across the Pond. I've like it. My two songs are Toto, Hold the Line. I listened to that this morning. Fucking belter of a tune. And Noel Gallagher's band, High Flying Birds, aka What a Life. Belter of a song.
Yeah.
My shout out is Angela. Thank you for
Me?
coming on the show. Thank you for
Oh,
being such a lovely person.
Totally.
And thank you for sharing your stories and everything and making us feel so welcome to have you on.
Well, thank you for having me, guys.
You're always welcome. If you want to come on again, just jump in. We're happy to have you.
All right.
So we can get this whole community together again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
There's going to be a
Adam,
lot more of these community-based long format shows.
Yeah.
There's always something to come up. There's always something to do. There's always something to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's really what Across the Pond was meant to be, was just not only the differences and similarities between the two countries and vaping and everything else, but just a general discussion and hang out, and it is what it is. We go off on different tangents and have a good time doing it.
We've got to do another food episode though, because that was great fun.
I actually,
Oh,
so the
bro.
lead singer from that band's Seeking Sirens, he's down for coming on for our next music show.
Sweet.
So
Good.
So here we go, wrapping it up. Once again, I thank everybody in chat, everybody here on the panel who has stuck around, everybody who has come and gone and shared their stories. It's appreciated. Know that you're not alone. Don't suffer in silence. Call me, email me, text me. Have a great night, morning, wherever it is you are in the world. And thank you again. We appreciate it.
Thank you.